This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
Goal! Goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. Some big games for you right across the country today. We're on the telly today, BBC One Scotland, 4:30 until 5:15. The conversation will continue on Radio Scotland right through until 7 o'clock. The fans will have their say at that point. Lots to discuss. Let's see what the games deliver this afternoon. The teams are out. We've got all the pictures coming into the studio here. Michael Stewart and Tom English alongside me. We got the team news. We had a wee scene set from all our pundits that are out and about. Let's get another wee bounce around the grounds right now. Motherwell at home to Dundee. Ian McCall. There's been so much praise for Jens Bertel Askew. I'm sure you're expecting to see a dominant performance on his side today.
I am. I really fancy him. We're just right at this minute, Kenny, we're having a minute's applause for the great Dixie Deans here at Fir Park, the players around the centre circle. But yes, I mean, it looks like a weakened Dundee team to me. Simon Murray on the bench. I think he was left out completely and then turned up on the bench, and Motherwell only making 2 changes. You've got to really, really fancy Motherwell strongly. It's a really pivotal moment in the season for both clubs, obviously. But if Motherwell can get a win today and then go to Ibrox and win, we could have a title race with 4. And if Hibs do well, we could maybe have 5 in it. Who knows?
Well, that's the point. I mean, this season has been truly remarkable. It's been great for this programme. We're all loving it, and the fans are loving it. They'll get their say, as I say, later on in the programme today. Let's get to that game at Tannadice. Dundee United at home to Hibs. We heard from Alan Preston earlier on. I watched Alan Hibs at Ibrox on Monday night. They started the game well, but there's just no cutting edge on the evening. As for United, what a crucial victory. What a real confidence booster for them on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was very good, Kenny. And touching on Hibs, I thought they started well for the first half an hour, but then never really created much after that. I think Martin Boyle was suffering from illness throughout. He's back today, which will certainly give them a lift. Zach Mitchell's in. He was on loan at St Johnstone last year from Charlton Athletics, so he makes his debut for Hibs today. And as far as United are concerned, brilliant result. Hopefully for them, they can kick-start the season and get them going up the table and get away for these draws with victories. But this is a tough one to call for me this afternoon. Really is. Really tight game.
Stephen Craigan is down at Rugby Park for us. Kilmarnock against Falkirk. Before we just talk about this game, Stephen, let's talk about the departure of Stuart Kettlewell. I felt in recent weeks he's been a bit unlucky with some big VAR calls that have gone against, and now we know that the run has not been good enough. That was clear. No wins in 10. That included 8 defeats. What's your thoughts on the decision that the club reached?
Whenever we enter football, Kenny, whether it's players, managers, pundits, supporters, whatever it is, you know the outcome if you don't win games of football. And that doesn't come into contention really with VAR decisions. If you went 10 games without a win, unfortunately, you know yourself you're going to be under all sorts of pressure, and Stuart knew that. We don't take any satisfaction in talking about it. We're just pointing on facts here. And in those 10 games, he scored 6 goals and conceded 24. So that wouldn't give you the sense that things were moving in the right direction. He had a couple of results he drew here against Dundee United. He drew at Tynecastle, but he needed to break that cycle of winless games, and he didn't manage to do it. Stuart spoke about it on a number of occasions, so the longer it went, the more he probably knew it's coming closer. Unfortunately, sometimes a change can reinvent players, can give everyone a lift. The shape's changed this afternoon. There seems a better atmosphere and vigour around the stands because they think it's something different and something fresh. We don't enjoy it, but unfortunately that's the nature of the business. So
yeah,
we know how it works.
I'll get your thoughts just in a minute and go to the game there, but looks Alan Preston there could be an early change up at Tannadice.
Strain's got a strain, I'm afraid. He's looks like his left groin on the far side. First minute of the match, he's got a little hold of Cadden on that side, and down he goes. He's not going to be able to continue, I'm afraid. Hopefully he's okay, not out for too long, but he's limping behind the goals. He won't take any further part.
That was bizarre because he wasn't even stretching. It wasn't as if he stretched to a challenge, and clearly gone down. Looks as if his game is over with the groin strain.
Right, we'll continue our bounce around the grounds in a minute. Just to go back to the game there that Stephen's at down at Rugby Park. Michael and Tom, your thoughts on Stuart Kettlewell? We know, and he knew he's quite an unpopular appointment. Maybe they're a decent start. I think it was 6 wins from his opening 13, but they've been in a really, really poor run of form. Can you put forward an argument? He's been a bit unlucky with VAR calls. Did you agree with what Stephen's saying? That when you look at the goals for and the goals against and the results, it was a fairly obvious decision.
I agree with Stephen. I think there's too many goals, too many defeats, not enough wins. Every manager in the country could complain about VAR, or in the Premiership could complain about VAR. Everyone's had their own injustices on that score. You could say some clubs more than others, but you know, it's just a run of performances and defeats that just you're going to get the sack. It's just a reality. It's a brutal world.
Yeah, it is. I think those two things can coexist. I think he has been extremely unfortunate. I think Kilmarnock and St Mirren, two clubs in particular, have been done over more than most when it comes to VAR. But that doesn't mean that the rest of it was, falls by the wayside in terms of importance. It's not been good enough the last couple of months. And he's just ultimately paid the price, as Craigs is talking about. I think he's right with that. The stats don't make for good reading.
Kenny, we're almost halfway through the season here, and I just wonder who's been the best player in the first half of the season and why he's picking Cammy Devlin.
Eastern Park, Ayr United have taken the lead.
Yes, Amy.
Yeah, it's an early goal for Ayr United. As I say, they've started well, it must be said, of Scott Brown's side. It's lovely play from Jamie Murphy. He's been so pivotal in the middle of the park. Rolls the ball into Marco Rosen. He slams it back across his face of the goal, and Mark McKenzie is on hand to fire the honest men in up front. Dunfermline 0, Ayr United 1.
First goal of the day, thank you to Amy Canavan there. So Alan, you want the pundit thoughts. We'll get this a little later. Is the player of the season so far?
Aye, and why he's all picking Cammy Devlin.
He has been great. I love watching him play. I love the way he plays the game.
Namu is on for strain for Dundee United.
Right, OK, so let's just continue our bounce. In terms of that game you're at then, Steve, we spoke about the managerial change. Chris Doolan in charge today. He'll fancy his chances, get a few decent results together. He might think he's got a good chance.
Well, the fact that he was going to be under 19 manager now, he's first team manager. Chris has been out of the game for 10 months as a first team manager, and when you get an opportunity at a club like Kilmarnock to be an interim manager, you want to showcase what you've got. If he can show that he can motivate and influence his team today and get a victory, suddenly you're in the eye line of the board and everyone looking down thinking, could he do a job? And then you build a little bit of momentum. So absolutely he'll be licking his lips and thinking, I can make a difference here, and good luck to him. Ultimately, Falkirk come here, Kenny, 4 games without a win, but they've been the Ibrox, have played Motherwell at home, they've been the Easter Road, they've played Hearts. So we don't look too far into it, but Falkirk certainly are a good side.
If you talk about players of the year so far, how many players would you name before you got a Celtic and Rangers player? I'd say
that's a good point.
Quite a few for the first time. You could say in a long time. You could name maybe 5 or 6.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
There's a lot of candidates from Hearts.
Mulligan for Hibs as well.
Absolutely.
Elliot Watt.
Maswanisi, Elliot Watt. There's quite a few.
Right, we'll go into the pundits on that. Let's get to the game in Paisley. St Mirren at home to Livingston. A bit of a buzz about the place today, Rory.
Yes, indeed, there is, Kenny, and St Mirren have started really well. They just missed a chance there through Ayunga. It was a good block, actually, by Mo Salah. It's gone out for a corner. I think it's Phillips that flashed one right across the face of goal previous to that as well. So they've started well. Livingston had one foray up the pitch, and Stevie May had half a chance, but couldn't quite get on the end of it. But no, St Mirren have started well. They're looking good. Livingston really need to get a win on the board sooner rather than later. It's many months since they last won, beating Falkirk. Oh, it's a chance! Oh, how's that not going in? I've no idea. I think it's Jonah Ayunga. He's trying to scramble it over the line. Livingston managed to get it away, but that's been the story of the opening kind of 8 or 9 minutes. It remains 0-0 here. St Mirren have started really well.
Yeah, we've got the pictures coming in here, Mike. We'll try to have a good look at this one. It's right in the corner of the studio, this game, but that was just bouncing about in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious, like you just mentioned there, it's the sort of smaller part of the screen and the camera angle from afar. You're just waiting for the ball to be bundled over the line, and somehow it's not, and the game has continued. And until I get a replay with a close-up, I've got absolutely no idea how that's not ended up in the back of the net.
Have we look at that one? Just Kenny, confirmation.
Darren Dulu started really well. I think he's a really good player. He's capable of scoring, some spectacular goals, and his hold-up play is really good. He's mobile as well, which you don't often see. Somebody who can take the ball in and bring players into play, but can also run the channels. He's been a great find for Stephen Robinson. He started this match really well.
Right, Man City 1, West Ham United 0. Erling Haaland after 5 minutes. Just confirmation of the goal that Amy brought us. Dunfermline Athletic 0. Ayr United 1. Mark McKenzie in the 5th minute. Kelty Hearts 0. Cove Rangers 1. Adam Emsley, a big game at the bottom of League One there. Let's then get into the Championship. The leader St Johnstone home to Morton. Willie Miller is there for us. What's happening in the early stages, Willie?
Well, they've got full control of the game, Kenny. St Johnstone have. Morton really struggling to make any impact, to make any impact in a forward fashion. They haven't had any chances in and around the St Johnstone box, whereas St Johnstone created a number. Josh McPake in particular down the left hand side has created 2 great opportunities that just a blue jersey just couldn't get a touch on it. They were flashed across the face of the goal. I'm not too sure who it was, the first one that went in. It might have been Sidibe that slid in, and he just couldn't get a little touch on it just to put it into the back of the net. So there's been 2 like that, but it's one-way traffic. I thought that St Johnstone would be the favourites at the start of this game. It's certainly working out to be that way. Created a couple of opportunities but still goalless.
Thank you to Willie Miller. Second place Partick Thistle are at home this afternoon to Wraith Rovers, of course, in the back of that terrific win last weekend. What's happening, Chick?
Yeah, it's good end-to-end stuff, Kenny, and 0-0 at the moment. Dylan Easton actually tried a Kenny McLean job from just inside the half. It was nowhere near the target, nowhere near the power required, nowhere near the elevation required as well. But it's such a talented player, Easton, of course. I'm delighted that Partick Thistle are having a bit of a period of attack now, because when the game swings to the other end, the sun is coming right down the spout as far as I'm concerned, trying to really struggle to see what's happening when the ball's up line. Remember, this is the winter solstice tonight, longest night of the year, 9:03 AM, winter solstice tomorrow, the first day of summer. So
I've had a few nights with you that have been longer. I can assure you.
Nearly a goal here, Kenny.
Yes, take it away.
Well, it was just a great chance. Got a brilliant bit of play by Callum Hendry. The first Motherwell have been really sloppy in the opening, 10 minutes. They nearly gave away a goal with a slack pass across their own goal. But Callum Hendry's went in, feinted to shoot with his right foot, beat his man, went in the left foot. He probably should have scored, but the goalie's made a half-decent save. But it was the first bit of real good play from Motherwell, straight from Callum Hendry.
East Kilbride 1 and an Athletic 0. Connor Young with opening goal there on 10 minutes, and there was an early goal for the away side at East End Park. Amy Canavan.
Sure was, Kenny, and Ayr have just been fairly comfortable since it's been an end-to-end. No one's really asserting their dominance, but you can't say that Ayr haven't just looked just that little bit slightly more comfortable, just as Dunfermline are on the attack. He just had a wee stoppages. Goal scorer Matt McKenzie had to head off for a wee few seconds there, but he is, as I say, taking the lead here today, and he is United's top goal scorer this season so far.
United have got another injury problem. Lucas Stevenson's just sat down in the middle of the pitch. Physios are on. We'll have to see how this goes. You would imagine a lot of fatigue from the game the other night, but you still think they would warm up right or whatever. There's not a tackle.
Oh, here we go.
It's a goal in Perth, and it's Josh McPake that has scored a right foot drive low along the deck, some 25 yards out. He picks it up on the left hand side. He takes on 2 players across the park. I was beginning to think he was going nowhere when he pulled the trigger on the half turn, sent it low beyond Storer in goal, and nestled into the far corner of the goal. It's been coming. They've created a couple of opportunities. This was a solo effort from Josh McPake, and St Johnstone take the lead.
He's definitely going somewhere, Willie.
Yeah, and I think it is east, isn't it?
Well, south, east.
Where the wise men come from, Willie.
If we drop this into the Championship in terms of the point that Alan raised there, he's got one of the players of the season, hasn't he?
Yeah, without a doubt. Goals
looks
and influence.
Like groin again. Sorry, Tom. Looks like another groin injury for Dundee United here. Lucas Stevenson's coming off.
Yeah, worrying signs.
Is that a coincidence, or is that something that they have done or not done in the warm-up?
Tom, it could be it's not being right. Maybe might have got it from the other night, and he just thought he could maybe get through it. And just have to wait and see. He's giving the manager a thumbs up. He's going to try and run it off, and we'll see how we get on from there. But it's never good.
Kenny, I'll give you one for the first half of the season.
Yep.
He's playing today, but it's not for Motherwell, and I think he's a boy that can go on and play at a real high level.
Don't say it. Congreve.
Okay. No. have another go.
The right back.
Luke Graham, centre back.
All right.
He's got a chance, real chance, in my opinion.
Do you like Congreve, do you?
Well, Congreve, it's one of them. It's like the couple of the Hearts boys. They were, when they're on fire, they're on fire. I mean, I saw him a couple of times this season. He's been terrific. He's kind of just like most wingers. He's kind of hit a wee lull now. He's not really been in the game today, but he can play. I mean, there's no doubt he can play. So can Ugan on the other side, and You know, Maswanise for Motherwell, he plays wide, has been elected. Obviously, he's not playing today, he's at the Ofcom, but he's been elected. The other one's McGinn, it's Paul McGinn. Every time I've seen him, he's been absolutely, he's hardly broke sweat.
Yeah, he's one of the most underrated players in the league, Paul McGinn, in my opinion.
Absolutely, he can play, reads the game really well.
He's only one candidate for player of the year so far.
I'll maybe throw in an old stager. Stuart Armstrong.
Yeah.
Aye.
You love Stuart Armstrong, Willie, don't you?
I do, yeah. Brilliant. I think he's been outstanding for Aberdeen.
Been good in a struggling side.
Yes, up to a point.
You ought to see the wee look in his face when he delivered that line, Willie.
Up to a certain point in time, I would agree with you, Michael, but the corner has been well and truly turned.
Domestically,
yeah. The European was just a wee adventure, wasn't it?
You were getting a bit of stick during the week, were you not, for your comments about him?
Who, me?
No. Michael Willie, you're off the hook.
Right, okay.
Just in terms of your assessment of them in Europe.
I thought it was so disappointing.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Aberdeen are a big club. Jimmy Tilleen's been backed. It's a huge squad. They had a very, very tough draw. That that is granted. Yeah, but even still, Tom, the games, FC Noah at home.
That's the big one. That was the one. Should have won that game.
I'm just looking at it. Larnaca away. I mean, I know they finished high up the table, but I was not impressed with them watching the game. But just overall, never really felt like Aberdeen really ever threatened. I mean, well, I don't know what you think, but I was disappointed with the European.
They're not good enough.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
They should be.
Why not?
But you think about the money that they've spent. Look at the recruitment.
Yeah.
Centre forward, Lazetic, I've not seen anything from him.
No.
He's on a 4-year deal, brought in from AC Milan. They'll be paying, a good few quid to him. So, I get, the point I'm making is that I look at Aberdeen and I think that is a big club who have spent money, and I don't think they've done as well as I would have expected or hoped.
Willie, fair comment?
No, it's been disappointing. Yeah, European campaign's been disappointing. Beginning of the season was disappointing as well, and even now that there is still questions, and one in particular is who is going to score the goals. Michael's talking about it there. Lazetic comes in. I don't know how much he's on, but I believe that he is a project player though, Michael, as well. I think that they've brought him 22-year-old, so they're wanting to develop him. As yet, I don't see it. They're struggling badly in front of goals, there's no doubt about that. Defensively, they're okay, and that's been the kind of a bedrock of the success they've had in getting into the top 6, but it's still not enough, absolutely not enough. The one good thing I would say about Jimmy Tilleen, he never used Europe as an excuse for not performing domestically, and I've heard that too many seasons from Scottish teams, and I think what at least he's taken that on board is that if you're a big club like Aberdeen and you want to participate in Europe, then you've got to have the squad strong enough to both compete domestically and in the European stage.
And to be fair, it's when they've actually gone into Europe that the domestic form's taken
on well.
Yeah. And Dylan Lobban has been, I think, since he's come in at the side, he's made that right wing back position his own. I've been very impressed with him. I know on Thursday night, Harris Lean, the Sparta captain, he's a good player and he had the better of him, but he's still stuck to his I like the look of him, Dylan Lobban, I've got to say.
Right, I think the two youngsters, Jack Millen.
Yeah, Jack Millen, yes. He's been established all season though.
He's still got to learn the game, but I mean, I don't know how many games he's played. 20 something is it perhaps? He only came in at the end of last season, so he's still a novice in terms of the amount of games he's played. But two of them for the future, I would suggest.
Look, if you want to get in touch with the programme, if you've got a thought on the games today, perhaps 2 massive games tomorrow, and also, and I'm going around the pundits in a few minutes, this a Christmas present for anyone involved in Scottish football. Could be a referee, a pundit, a player, a manager. Get your thoughts in. We'll try and play them out later in the programme. 08085 92 95 00. That's a voice note on WhatsApp. Alan Preston.
Hibs are starting to ramp up here. Cadden's at the side netting with a decent effort. Then he just whipped in a magnificent cross. Boyle makes the front post run. So close to it. Could he have got there, Michael?
Difficult. I mean, he's flung it. To be fair, he's flung himself at it. As you said, it's a great ball. When Nicky Cadden plays like this, it takes the team to a different level.
Close, wasn't he?
He is close, yeah. His strike was very close as well. It was a thunderous strike from about, 25 yards out?
Yep.
Right, couple of goals going in. Athletic equalised with East Kilbride. Willie Gibson with the goal on 16 minutes. And Kelty Hearts have equalised at home to Cove Rangers. Tamawea on 90 minutes, one apiece in that game. So we've just had an update from Alan Preston up there at Tannadice. Let's get to the game at Fir Park. What's happening, Ian McCall?
Well, Motherwell have been really, really slow. It's still 0-0, Kenny. There's no, apart from the Callum Hendry chance, that there hasn't been another chance. I mean, Motherwell, I feel, have been really sloppy in possession of the ball. I mean, I still think they're probably at 68% possession, but just quite sloppy, and particularly in the middle third, where they've been impressive in previous games. And Dundee are just sticking to their task, sticking to their shape. It's almost 4-5-1 when they're not in possession of the ball. But I'm sure Motherwell will start to produce more, but they've certainly not produced much thus far.
Right, Chris Doolan in charge of Kilmarnock today at home to Falkirk. Stephen Craigan is there for us. Any signs of life under the new manager, Stephen?
I think initially, Kenny, is what usually happens when a manager comes in. The first 5-10 minutes is a little bit frantic. Players are running all over the place, trying to impress the manager, trying to impress the support that we are battling, we are fighting. It was a little bit disjointed early on. They've settled down a little bit more now. I think they were trying to force the issue early on. Falkirk had a little bit of control of the game, but there's nothing been really of note going. Brian Graham broke free from the halfway line, was chased down, had a shot from 20 yards. It didn't really test the goalkeeper. Brad Lyons had a shot wide from about 25 yards, and it drifted past the right hand post of Scott Bain. But apart from that, it's two teams who are trying hard, they're trying to get their foot in the ball, but they haven't got any real cohesion or rhythm at the minute, hence the reason why it's 0-0.
Goal! Yes!
And it's Stevenson. Thought he was going on for a groin strain. It's a long throw and goes back to Ferry. He digs it out with his right foot. It's flicked on, held up, then rolled back to Stevenson. It's a quick shot. The keeper's got no chance. He can't see his body's in front of him, and he finds the bottom corner. Dundee United 1, Hibs 0.
Well, Salinger's claiming that there's somebody offside, but I'm not sure. I think Grant Hanley's playing him on. I think one of the Dundee United players that's central. It's as you said, by the time it goes past the last player, Stevenson's strike gets too close to the goalkeeper to react. It's not as if it's a powerful strike,
no,
but it looks like he's angled it into the corner. We'll see now whether there is any potential offside. I don't think there is. No, there's not. There's not. I think it's Ross Graham, the captain, that's in the centre of the goals. Yeah, and ultimately this is the problem for Hibs. Perform well, play well, but they're just coming on the wrong side of too many results now, and that inevitably is going to bring pressure. So many games I've watched Hibs, and I think I really, really like a lot of their play, but they're not getting results. And that's a big
It was the same on Monday night, Michael, the first half hour or so.
The first half an hour, they were so on top.
Yeah.
But, again, exactly the same thing. Another big game. Hibs have come away on the wrong side of the result. And that's just...
They never looked like scoring in the second half at Ibrox on Monday night. That's the thing.
Not really. First half, they were very good.
Yeah, they were.
Very good.
But it's a worry, that, Michael, because I really think Hibs have got the squad to... on this particular season to get involved in a race to win a title with Hearts and Rangers and Celtic, etc. Maybe even Motherwell. It doesn't seem to be happening in big games.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing immediately obvious that you can point your finger at and go, well, that in terms of other than they need to score more goals. But there's nothing. There's many aspects of the team that I look at and I go, well, that looks good. That's functioning quite well. But they just keep coming on the end of wrong results. I watch them now and I think they play better football than they did last season, and obviously they went on that incredible run that got them into third position. But there's many aspects of the game this year I look at, and the squad as a whole, and I think they're stronger and better than last, but the results are not coming.
But they've got, they scored 27 goals. They've scored more goals. More goals than Motherwell.
I appreciate, but if you want, in terms of
when they've come,
yes, if you look at the actual games, big games in particular, they've been lacking,
Yeah.
Right, some goals going in. So just confirmation, Dundee United 1, Hibs 0. Lucas Stevenson on 20 minutes. Forfar have equalised at home to Edinburgh City. Jack Duncan Happett City head in 20 minutes. Equaliser from Whatley just a minute later, one apiece there. Clyde 0, Stirling Albion 1. Clyde had been going well. Corey Thompson with that goal on 23 minutes. Let's get to the game in Paisley. The wayside coming a bit more into it.
Second goal.
Oh, wait a minute, back to Willie Miller.
Second goal for St Johnstone. Josh McPake this time, the provider, and Sam Stanton lashes it into the roof of the net. McPake has been unplayable down this left-hand side, hitting the byline, going infield. Defender not sure if he's going to go inside or outside. He's flashed across 3 magnificent crosses from the left-hand side. On this occasion, Stanton was there to take advantage of it and rifle it into the roof of the net. 2-0 St Johnstone.
Yeah, he's been a terrific player, Josh McPake, of course. He looks to be on his way to Hearts this coming season. Let's get to the game in Paisley. Rory, just saying, I'm looking up at all the games can here, but the Wayside doing reasonably well so far?
Yeah, they've had a few corners. They look a little bit suspect defensively at times. Danny Wilson defends his box really well, but more in so in wider areas. They've just given the ball away there, though, and it's Dulu who plays through a Ayunga. He's one-on-one here. Can he finish it? Oh, he's saved. The goalkeeper saved it. Decent save, but it was right at him. It was low, straight at him, so decent enough save. Livingston causing their own problems there. They've looked decent on the counter-attack at times, Kenny. As I said, they've had a few corners and put it into the area, but they don't have enough numbers in the box. They're industrious outside of the box, but when they do work it into wider areas through Montano, Finlayson, etc., they've got nobody in the box when the ball actually comes in. So, as I said, they're not playing badly. They just look a little bit vulnerable defensively, but it's still 0-0 as it stands. No huge opportunities with that.
See,
one
Tom,
there.
Just on that point I was making before, if you look at Hibs against Hearts, Rangers and Celtic, they've played 6 games against them this season, including the League Cup tie against Rangers at Ibrox. They've only scored 1 goal in those 6 games. You know, they've beaten Falkirk 3-0.
Livingston 4.
They put 4 past Livingston.
It's those, the goal tally up there.
Aye. So it's those big games where they're actually, in a lot of the games, you're like, well, they've been all right. You're expecting a wee bit more, but if they had that ruthless streak in those games, that makes a huge, not just in terms of the points tally, but also the belief and the confidence if they're competing in those games. And they've just not done it this year.
Rory, before we bounce around the championship grounds, didn't get a chance to get your thoughts.
Second goal for Ayr United.
Oh, right.
My goodness gracious me. Eastern Park are furious. Dunfermline just switch off. They're absolutely adamant that the offside flag is going to go up on the far hand side. I have to admit, Kenny, I thought it was as well. Anton Dowd is just waiting for this looping ball to come in. Ben Dempsey has the initial shot. It takes a deflection up in the air. I'm convinced Anton Dowd is offside, as is the Dunfermline defence, but he nods in so nonchalantly inside the 6-yard box. And Ayr United are 2 goals to the good. Eastern Park is not a happy place. Dunfermline 0, Ayr United 2.
Yeah, fantastic start for Scott Brown's side there.
Just to go back to Hibs, is it that they have the strikers but they're not finishing, or it's a lack of overall creativity in the team, Mikey, from your perspective?
A bit of both. There's been chances in games that I've seen that you're thinking they should have perhaps scored, but then if you just look at that Rangers game in particular, I thought they were brilliant in the first half an hour up to about the edge of the box, and then they never really were able to come up with the final pass. The amount of times I saw Josh Mulligan or McGrath bursting past the Rangers midfield, driving at the back line, and then it frittering out.
Ellie Ewan was so disappointing.
Ellie Ewan, I don't know why Cleegee didn't play instead of him. Ellie Ewan
just not been fit, Michael.
Was that what
he was so disappointing the other night, Alan, honestly.
Because he's not had a full week, and Boyle was ill as well.
Because Ellie Ewan, when I saw him starting, I did wonder. I thought, I don't get that, because
he's got to score.
He just doesn't know how to play football. He's got attributes but doesn't know how to use them, and ends up being in the wrong position or taking 10 touches instead of 2. The most frustrating player.
Hamilton Accies 1, Alloa Athletic 0. Scott Robinson with a goal on 25 minutes. Hoping to get an Accies fan on later in the fan element of the programme. It's important to touch in with them. We did so a couple of times last season. Really difficult times for them. At least some good news so far on the park today. That early advantage against Alloa.
Here for St Mirren, Kenny.
Yes, sorry.
It's Livingston again and causing their own problems. Dan Finlayson's too far inside, and Montano goes down the left-hand side, far too high up the pitch, and Marcus Fraser just bombs up the right. He's got the freedom on the right-hand side. He picks out a Ayunga who's headed wide. He really should have scored. The chances, good chances, are starting to rack up for St Mirren now. That's 3 of them, but unable to capitalise, and it's still 0-0.
No, I thought today, Rory, that St Mirren might be a bit vulnerable. Maybe the League Cup final hangover, but no sign of it. As you said, 2 or 3 really good chances so far.
No, Doug McNeil, one of the producers, messaged me, a big St Mirren fan, before it, saying what are my thoughts on today, and I said exactly that, Tom. I said it'll be interesting to see whether full of adrenaline or a little bit fatigued, and it seems like the cup final has put them in a good place, because Gogic in the middle of the pitch has been great, and they should be winning this match. They really should.
There's your player of the year right
good
there.
chances, good opportunities.
Right, check your player of the year.
Roy's just named them.
Yeah, Gogic.
Without a shadow, without all other bets they're
Yeah, he's been good.
I tell you what, Kenny, it was interesting, the debate earlier on about Celtic, and one of the things, what a day I had last Sunday, that's another story, but the unification of the St Mirren
Were you on the
support,
balcony at Paisley Town Hall?
I had just said a few words as usual, delivered to the good townspeople. One team, one town. It was fantastic. But the point I'm trying to make is that, that everything else going on at Celtic, the Celtic fans, there were probably one or two exceptions, but they found...
Oh, here's a chance for Dundee United for 2-0. Oh, the goalie. He tries to be clever with the kick out. It's a head down to Stevenson. It's on to Waters, quickly gets turned. He's lucky that Hanley gets back for a block. Brilliant block from Hanley. What is the keeper doing?
That's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. A real let off there. Check, you want to finish that point?
There was an incredible spirit amongst. I was right in the Mount Ford ending, the heart of the St Mirren fans. At the other end, and the Celtic fans, you could feel what was coming. They were more interested in putting a banner up about the board and the politics of the club than actually getting behind. You discussed it. It was a very interesting debate earlier on, Kenny. But there are a lot of elements as to why Celtic are not performing as the club that they normally are, and I think everything that comes on at every point in Nancy, I think there are other elements of what's wrong with Celtic, and what's happening with the support is they weren't really getting behind the team last Sunday, and that was a huge factor in St Mirren's favour on the day. To go back to the football players, Gogic has been a sensational signing for them.
But you go back to Celtic, I think there's a question for the board. Wilfred Nancy clearly wants to play his system, so they've none of the players for that. He's trying to take a sledgehammer to a peanut at the moment. He should have just stuck with what he has to January, then changed it. But did the board say, right, we're going to have to bring in 4 or 5 for him to have a system that he wants? But does he get that time if the 2 results before the window opens?
Does it not say at all that if he's never going to say it, but Derek McInnes, Jens Bertolascu, Danny Rowe, they would all be delighted if Wilfred Nancy stays in charge. Isn't that not the reality here?
That is the reality.
It looks like it just now, yeah, it does. I think in the last week he's been schooled by 3 2 Irish and 1 Scottish manager. In the last few weeks, he's Stevie Robinson.
100%, Alan. I mean,
and that's it. We're sometimes hard on our managers that work in the Scottish game, but it just showed you. It really does.
Kenny, guys, I just said this. Just to get Phil Hill here. This game's been held up for a couple of minutes now. There's a Raith Rovers player down. He was lying back. I think he's saying, I can't identify who it is over the far side of the penalty spot. The Partick Thistle's penalty spot. A couple of the Thistle players round about him as well. That's a good couple of minutes. This match has been stopped, and real concern.
Oh, unlucky.
Stephen Craigan, chance for you.
Yeah, it is. It's really good play from Kilmarnock. David Watson, who's probably been the shining light for Kilmarnock at various stages over the past 18 months or 2.5 years, wins the ball in the halfway line, drives forward, unfortunately doesn't have a lot of teammates round about him, manages to check out, feeds it across 25 yards out from Brad Lyons. He takes a touch, it bounces into the air, has a fizzing shot. Scott Bain doesn't move, and it just whistles past the post. But it probably just highlights Kilmarnock's problems, Kenny, in a way. I think there's a real imbalance. There's no width, there's no wingers in their squad, in their team. Scott Tiffany potentially is the only one. Greg Kiltney's playing wide but wants to play narrow. So there's a lack of creativity, and you're kind of stuck to trying to play players in positions where they're not probably thriving.
And a big chance, Alan Preston.
Yes, for Bowie, and it's a really good play. Well, Shakola goes back to Caddy and whips it in, goes to Bowie, and we all know how strong he is on his left foot. He turns and hits it, just as I said at United on attack, turns and hits it just by the post. Really, that must have been so close.
The injuries to Paul Hanlon, actually.
Right.
He's now up, I'm delighted to say. They're helping him off the pitch. He didn't need a stretcher, but he's going straight down the tunnel. There'll be a substitution for Raith Rovers. I just hope Paul Hanlon's fine.
Right, I want to just go back to Rory. There's a slight delay in your line out there in Paisley, Rory. I know you want to come in the Celtic debate there.
Yeah, there is a slight delay, so apologies if I'm talking over anyone. I just think the point that Michael made earlier is so relevant in the ease in which opposing teams find it to create chances against Celtic. And I think, what Alan says as well about the managers, it's quite stark and obvious to me that any good passages of play Celtic have had have all been in the first half. It took Derek McInnes at half-time just to shuffle a couple of things about, and Michael's touched on it. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing that was unbelievable. It was just recognising issues and fixing them in game. And the problem Wilfred Nancy's got is he's not had time to work on a plan A, never mind a plan B. We see him pulling players over at the bench to try and talk them through plan Bs when they're losing matches. He's not even had time to do plan A, never mind plan B. And it was exactly the same in the cup final. Celtic had a good period of pressure in the first half. Stephen Robinson, he put Bacchus on McGregor. He opened up the wider areas by literally playing balls over the top of Fantin or Alston, pulling one of the centre backs into a wider position, and the card Celtic open time after time. And that is down to the system and players not being comfortable in the system. Jim Goodwin then changes things, puts his midfield slightly higher up the pitch. Simple things which had a big impact, and Nancy just didn't have the awareness to try and fix that, or the capability or communication to fix that. He's not had the time.
You hear his comments, just his pre-match and build up to this game, presser talking about he'll continue to experiment. I mean, again, that must strike the fear of death into everyone connected with Celtic.
And the players.
Yeah, but also, do you know
Michael,
what?
But it shouldn't do the board, because you spoke about recruitment of players. But Wilfred Nancy should have been asking the questions, which I imagine he did. What do you want from me as manager? What style do you want? What do you expect from me? Because he plays in 3-4-3, so why then bring him in and say, no, we're going to bring you in, but don't play that?
No, but I mean,
recruit somebody who plays with a back four.
Craigs, you're right in terms of, and it goes back to everything we've been saying so far. Yeah. Nobody at Celtic comes out looking good. Nobody, no department, nobody. It's a complete lack of synergy. Brendan Rodgers spoke about it at the start of the season, needing to have synergy right throughout the club. This is the polar opposite of that. Craigs is right. Anybody that did any, semblance of homework or knowing Nancy knows he plays this way.
Yeah.
Now, for him to be trying to force his ideology into a team that just won 7 games out of 8, has played with a back four for at least a
Mikey,
decade.
Sorry to interrupt. Gogic has pulled Stevie May back here. Just have a look at it. It looks like he's in on goal. There is a recovering defender. Referee doesn't see anything in it. It looked like a tug to me. May's got the pace on him.
He's furious, Stevie May.
He is livid,
yeah.
Was a covering defender.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it's as soon as he actually even touches him, it looked like Stevie May went down. I'm not even sure if there was a pull at that point. I need to see the replay.
Yeah, waiting for a replay.
But
Mikey, can I just ask you as well, while you're waiting on that replay, how difficult does it make the transfer window for Celtic, given that they play a 3-4-3?
Incredibly, because it's the same.
If they back him, and
they
bring in
into a
wing backs, etc., the next manager, and it's the whole ethos of the setup at Celtic not to be that you maintain consistency within shapes and players, so that if a manager doesn't work out, you bring in another manager in with similar thoughts.
It's the same thing at Man United with Amory, and I'm just looking at that again. That's never a free kick. It's never a foul. Gogic on Stevie May. It's never. As I thought, he just touched it and fell down. But to go back to the point, absolutely, because look, a 3-4-3 like that is a nuanced system. It's not a standard system. So if you are incapable of utilising the players that you've got to play that system, then you're having to recruit into it, which then does potentially prove problematic for the next guy, who I can pretty much guarantee will not do that. And it's the exact same thing at Man United. The ideology of this system over everything else, and then you recruit into it and you're backing yourself into a corner where you spend money on specific players that may well not be flexible in a different system.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Michael. The Celtic board have got something on their minds here to say, do we back him here? Because we might bring players in that will suit his system. A manager can't go into a football club and say, this is my system. You've got to see the personnel that you have and then make the system after that.
Especially when it's so nuanced, Alan.
Exactly.
Especially when it's so nuanced. Collie, you tell me this, right?
Yeah. I was going to mention Amram earlier. He's a perfect example.
Yeah, but see the whole thing about...
Great ball! Oh, how has he missed Bowie? Again, it's Cadden with a wonderful ball. How's Bowie missed that? He's middle of the 6-yard box. What a ball that is.
Goodness me.
I tell you why he's missed it. He's gone with his right foot. He should go
with his left.
He should go with his right. No, he should go with his right, but he swings his right and just misses it.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Someone else behind him as well.
Martin Boyle.
Martin Boyle's a bit slow to react.
He's a bit timid as well, though, Mikey. He's a bit timid there.
Bowie. 100%.
Really.
My point is, see if it was the other way around that was on his left, he wouldn't be timid. He'd be going and smashing it.
Attacking it. Guys, got a couple of goals. Kelty Hearts have turned things around at home to Cove Rangers. Rico Diak with the goal, 2-1. And my goodness, I want to talk about this in a few minutes' time. Ross County 0, Arbroath 1. Jacob McIntyre with a goal there on 33 minutes. Alan Preston.
Equaliser, it's Martin Boyle. It's a corner, it's flicked on, it goes to the back post, and there's Boyle. Really good finish on the right foot into the back of the net. 1-1, good strike.
Yeah, important as well. Because again, Hibs have actually.
Third goal at St Johnstone, Jamie Gillan. It is that he picks out this time. He almost gave up the opportunity by dwelling, and what looked like an empty goal to me with some red jerseys getting back from Morton, but it broke him again. Sidibe, great work down the right hand side from Sidibe. Isolates Gillan, he just squares the ball to him, takes the touch, allows the defenders to get back, has the effort and goal, rebounds back to him very fortunately, but in the second attempt he puts into the back of the net. 3-0 here for St Johnstone.
Martin Boyle was unmarked the whole time. He starts at the back and just drifts into that pocket of space. Nobody's near him at any point, and I know it goes through a number of bodies before it lands at him, but
United
a very
zonal,
important
Michael.
Sorry?
United zonal, not picking him up.
Yeah, but he's he starts almost at the back post and then just peels away into further away, and nobody was anywhere near him at any point. But that's a big goal because Hibs have actually performed. They've performed all right.
The better side.
Yeah.
There's a chance here for Boyle again. He's hitting it, deflected. Just wide of the target.
Right, so one apiece there. Martin Boyle, the equaliser. St Johnstone 3, Morton 0. Jamie Gillan in 39 minutes. Man City 2-0 now at home to West Ham United. East Fife 0. Peterhead 1. Jason Brown with a goal in 38.
I wanted to ask Collie about this in terms of Martin O'Neill 15 minutes, and I think that's quite a telling comment from Martin O'Neill in that he just had 15 minutes with Nonsi, and now Nonsi's talking about he'll continue to experiment, finding things out. Well, you could have found out a lot if you spent more than 15 minutes.
Should he have said that, Martin O'Neill?
Well, it's not just whether the rights and wrongs are saying. He's entitled to say what he wants. He's Martin O'Neill.
But
it doesn't reflect well on the manager. Yes, Alan.
Mitchell, it's a whipped-in corner. It's Mitchell going with the keeper. Mitchell gets on the end of it, literally a yard or two out, off the crossbar and away.
Great chance.
See, in terms of the little bit of advice from Martin O'Neill, I've been thinking about this during the show. See 1 minute of advice he would have given him. If you're getting beat as the manager, Celtic Rangers, keep your press conferences really, really short and give them nothing. And that would be advice given, and he's just doing way too much when they're getting beat.
It's not just the fact that it was only 15 minutes, and why would you not want to spend 2 hours with Martin O'Neill?
Yeah.
Sorry, can you look, Michael? Can you look at this as a Mitchell being punched in the head or nothing in it?
Okay. Nothing really.
Both players are down, so I'm just wondering.
It's not just that. It's the fact that Martin O'Neill said that he did very little talking himself when he in that 15 minutes.
Yeah, and
it just sounds all wrong. It's all wrong.
Martin is he can be a wee bit naughty. He's a great guy, but I mean, even saying, and yes, I'd have stayed on at a radio show. I thought that was a wee bit as well. You can look into that how you want to as well, but.
He's just telling the truth. Let's go back to that debate.
Yeah. But
you're so disrespectful.
As Tom says there, Collie, if you were going in somewhere and you had an experienced manager like that, I get that the new manager perhaps is wanting to, impose himself. But in private, why would you not be sitting down and picking his brains?
Yeah, and also he wouldn't. Martin O'Neill would not be saying to him, the key to being the manager is just win. It would be a slightly more detailed than that.
Aye, and also asking about the players, because with the greatest respect, Nonsi's not going to know all the players intimately, and he's spent 4 games trying to find out, and he's lost them.
Yeah,
and even on a public relations point of view, I can't understand why he doesn't say. I spent 2 hours with Martin O'Neill. What an experience that was.
He's got a lot of things wrong, Tom. You're right.
Just schoolboy stuff.
Chance here, Craigs.
Yeah, I have to say that last 4 or 5 minutes, you can hear the Kilmarnock fans starting to sing. They're enjoying watching their team playing. It's as if they've eventually sorted the system. They've got their width. I think 3 or 4 minutes ago, it was a lovely switch of play from Dominic Thompson out to Greg Kilty on the right-hand side, drove past Leon McCann, fizzed it in, and David Watson got across the near post, just flicked it over the crossbar. This time it's across from the left-hand side, Therese John Jules, he fizzes the ball in. I think it's Bruce Anderson just puts it over the crossbar, so Kilmarnock are really in the groove. Bruce Anderson's through one-on-one, ball bounces through, wouldn't come down for him, keeps it alive. I have to say, Kilmarnock have been so much better as the game has progressed. And Falkirk, you can see why they haven't scored a lot of goals in the last 4 games. They're lacking a cutting edge and they can't get up the pitch. But it's still 0-0.
We still to start this game at 10. Richards, the goalkeeper, has got a cut. on his right hand side of his eye. By the looks of it, I'm just trying to look at the pictures here.
Is there a concussion thing maybe, or is it? Think it's just
no, it's a cut. You can see
it's a cut, is it?
Yeah.
Aye. It was a innocuous coming together between him and Mitchell, the two of them. As Mitchell got his head on it, and I didn't see how Edwards had got a cut, but there's obviously just been a coming together between the two. But nobody is at fault there at all.
Right, East Kilbride 1 and Athletic 2. Josh Dixon with the goal. The second goal for the Wayside. They've come from behind. A bit of a shock in the Cards. Josh Dixon with the goal just for half time. East Kilbride 1 and Athletic 2.
Who's playing in the wider areas, Craigs, for Kelly?
Well, it's Greg Kilty started in the left, and Therese John Jules started in the right, and they've now switched.
Right.
But I'm saying, John Jules is a centre forward, and Greg Kilty's probably an inside midfield player who wants to get into the box. He's not a wide player, so they've lacked that little bit of creativity. And I remember Stuart, and I've not been overly critical, but he was at Motherwell. He had signed very similar players, that they were stuck to a 3-5-2, 3-4-3 at times, but the two forward players in the wide areas weren't wingers. They were kind of midfield players, and that's what it looks like at the minute, Michael. As much as they're creating chances, it's all huff and puff and hard work without actually a little bit of finesse and skill and creativity.
Right, perhaps aside from the Hearts fan that's working in the programme today, does anyone think that Wilfred Nancy should stay in charge of Celtic?
Yes.
Until Monday, please.
Listen, it's collective responsibility. You can't
half time in Paisley, Kenny, 0-0.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, check.
It's collective responsibility. Obviously, it's not been great, and I understand why people are calling for him. But there's a board to appoint them. They're responsible. The players are not performing. They just can't turn and point the finger at the manager.
But you can't stick with him, surely.
Check, that's a fair point, and we've already spoken about it. But just because the board appointed him doesn't then mean that he's not responsible equally.
No, I'm not saying he is without responsibility, but there's a collective here. So are you trusting these people to go, okay, get rid of Nancy? Then who did they go and get? Where did they go? Do you trust them to go and appoint someone else?
So here's the thing. How about if they'd actually, done the appropriate work in the summer, and you might have had a manager in Brendan Rodgers who was wanting to hang about.
So you're agreeing with my argument that it's not just down to Nancy.
I never said it was down to Nancy, but that doesn't then mean that you stick with it.
But that's the head. Everybody's calling for the head of Nancy as if that's the solution to Celtic's many problems.
No, I don't think anybody's doing that.
It's far deeper than Wilfred Nancy. Far deeper.
Of course it is, from the support to the to the board, to everyone.
So
but it's players. But the players
are. Wait a minute, check.
6 added on minutes here at Tannadice.
What if you've got a new manager coming in and changes a formation, a successful formation, and you as a player and a senior player don't want to play that formation? What do? Do you just accept the fact that you're having to put up with the nonsense? So you don't. If you're a senior player and you've got anything about you at all, then you'll have your own opinion, and that should be told to the manager. Surely to goodness. So I don't think you can blame the players on this occasion.
So they just and a major final. I'm not saying they lied down. They didn't lie down, but they did not perform.
But there's a reason why they didn't. There's a reason why they're not performing.
They're highly paid professional players.
Yeah, but there's a reason. If that same group of players are capable of winning 7 games out of 8 prior to it, then why is it that they're not capable now?
Well, exactly.
Well, why is it? It's not the players. Because they've been made uncomfortable in a system that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And would you rely on the people to bring the players in that he wants?
No.
And that's
the question.
Thanks, well,
that's where you get into the layers. I mean, there's recruitment. That's one thing.
Half-time 0-0 in Kilmarnock.
And the type of players and you want to recruit into the system that you're deploying. But then there's the people who are recruiting. And it's Paul Tisdale and others. And any of those trustworthy right now?
So you think
credibility right now?
Are you saying then at the moment, if it happens that Wilfred Nancy is relieved of his duties, are you saying that Tisdale should go? He shouldn't be relied upon to appoint the next guy? Is that what you're saying?
I would never have ever relied on Paul Tisdale in the first place.
Credentials for this job are paper thin.
How did he get appointed then?
No idea. And this is the other thing, by the way. I mean, Paul Tisdale, has he ever spoken? No. Wilfred Nancy, when he was announced, there wasn't even a press conference. There was no press conference.
Half time at Fairhill, no.
Thanks, check it. Airdrie 0, Queen's Park 1, Josh Fowler right in the stroke of half time.
I wouldn't. I think he deserves more games than 4 games. But by the way,
a window.
The way. Well, you could say yes biscuits. But then if he loses 6 games and 7 games in your middle of January and he's no wins,
all that's happening now is delaying the inevitable. That's it. It's just delaying the inevitable until people that are in positions of power feel more comfortable with making the decision that will need to be made eventually.
They're clearly, as a board, they're desperate that something happens.
Right, so
a victory drops out of the sky.
A Celtic fan will join us later in the programme. We've got 2 games still going. I think Amy's still going to East End Park.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
There's your answer.
United 3-0 up before half-time.
Good timing.
And it is Leon King who has slammed Ayr United a third just before the break. It is an absolute disaster at the back from Dunfermline. It's a corner whipped in. They do not clear their lines at all. A bit of a melee in the box, and it is rifled into the back of the net. We're a little bit later. There's been a fair few stoppages in this first half, but my goodness, Dunfermline just cannot now wait for the half-time whistle. Dunfermline 0, Ayr United 3.
Thanks to Amy there. Yeah, what a scoreline for Scott Brown's side, and just still playing up there at Tannadice Island after that long delay. Did he stay on? Did the keeper stay on? Yeah,
he stayed on. 6 minutes we got added on, Kenny. Hibs should be ahead. They've been very good. You know, they've dominated possession. Had 3 times the chances that United have had. United are just hanging in at the moment. I'm sure David Gray, if it does go on 1-1, will be disappointed because they've played very well in that opening period.
Boos ringing round East End Park, half-time. Dunfermline 0, Ayr United 3.
Yeah, they were loud and clear, that's for sure. We've just seen pictures, Alan, and Jim Goodwin on our screen here. So how does he go about changing the flow of this game in the second half?
I think they try and squeeze the game if they can, but having watched them the other night, I think they're lacking pace, so probably wouldn't do that because Boyle's quick. Bowie you can get runners off Bowie. Mulligan likes to charge forward, so maybe even dropping off a little bit for them if you can. But for David Gray, it's more of the same again. Get the ball out of Cadden. He's produced some brilliant crosses. Hibs should certainly be ahead, and if Bowie's got his shooting boots on, they would have been.
Right, OK, Alan will keep us updated on that one. I remind you, we're on the telly today, BBC One Scotland, 4:30 through until 5:15. Fans of various clubs joining us between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. We'll have 3 tunes as well, given we do that on a Saturday night, and they'll be chosen this evening by Tom English, Michael Stewart and myself. So stay tuned for that. I can't guarantee some classics.
It's a fairy tale in New York, Kenny.
It'll be interesting. You'll tell a lot about us when we
we've got to stick to Christmas songs, and
that's what I'm saying. That's the one.
I'm sick of that one.
Well, you know what? I love the Pogues. I was at a Pogues tribute band last night and they were amazing.
What were they called?
They were called Rapperie.
Oh,
the Rogues.
I think there might be a band called the Rogues, a tribute band. There'll be a few, but I'm not picking Fairy Tale in New York. It's a magnificent song, but like you, I'm just kind of a bit tired of it now.
You can change your words in that song.
Right.
Right.
So the Hearts are sitting top on Christmas Day.
Alan,
yes.
How optimistic, I'm not going to say confident, are you feeling the Hearts can go right to the wire?
I think they've got a chance. I really do. It's a real opportunity for them. They've already added one that they'll bring in. They'll maybe bring in hopefully a right back for me. They still need that, and that'll certainly strengthen them. There's a lot to go between see what Celtic do in the window, Rangers do in the window. If Hibs can win this today, they're back in it. We've got a cracking race. Well, that's one thing I would say. A really good race here.
If you were to do, Alan, a combined Hearts, Celtic and Rangers team.
What system are you playing?
3 at the back, clearly. I think you're putting a lot more Hearts players in there than the other two.
Well, you raised a good point earlier. You raised a good point earlier.
Half time at Tannadice, 1-1. Really good game here.
Yeah, when Alan asked the question, we'll go around a few of pundits haven't answered this yet. Who'd your player of the season be so far?
Tomorrow is monumental in regards to this.
It sure is, yeah.
If Hearts turn up and perform like they're capable of, they should take Rangers apart. But it's not as easy as that, because Rangers have not performed, brilliantly, but they've been getting results. And tomorrow at Tynecastle, that's a huge one. If Hearts come away with 3 points, massive. Whereas obviously, equally on the other side of things, if Rangers do, then they are right in the hunt. I have not played particularly brilliantly to this point.
Isn't it absolutely bonkers and totally symptomatic of the season that Rangers, if they win tomorrow, they're right there, despite everything that we've said about them this season.
This is Open All Mics.
Goal! Brilliant! On BBC Radio Scotland.
2
Doors Down returns to BBC One Scotland with a brand new Christmas special on Christmas Eve. So in the spirit of goodwill to all colleagues, I'm inviting our BBC neighbours from 2 floors down to join me up in the Radio Scotland studio.
Have you got any mince pies? Ones with all the cream on the top.
You got the ones with the brandy in them?
Oh, I like the sound of it.
I haven't got any mince pies.
The 2 Doors Down Christmas Takeover with Brian Burnett. Christmas Eve from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds. And don't miss 2 Doors Down Christmas Special. Christmas Eve at 10 on BBC One Scotland and iPlayer.
You'll have to bring your own mince pies.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Lots of drama in the first halves right across the country. Let's get to our game. It's just finished there, actually. The half-time whistle has just gone a few minutes ago at Fir Park. Motherwell at home to Dundee. Let's hear from Ian McCall.
Yes, I mean, a lot of drama in the other games, Kenny, not so much here. Motherwell have been really, really sloppy. Dundee have been... I mean, after their initial press, they retreat into a 4-5-1. They've been dogged, but there's not been a lot of great quality. In saying that, Motherwell had on the 10th, 20th, 30th and 42nd minute, they had 3 or 4 really good. Callum Hendry's had a really nice chance. It all made himself, had a lovely little dummy, hit it straight at the goalie. Callum Slattery's chance, and it was a lovely touch again from Callum Hendry. Slattery came in a third man on, couldn't finish it. And then Longello got to the line deep in the left hand side for Motherwell. Really good cross. Callum Slattery again arriving in the box late with a volley, couldn't get it in target. And just before half time, Elijah Just, who's a very skillful player, great wee bit of skill, turned onto his left foot and had it just past him, right in line, just past the right hand post. I just feel Motherwell should be winning the game, but they have been a really sloppy in possession of the ball from, I think, the standards that their manager sets them. But Fir Park, it's Motherwell 0, Dundee 0.
Thank you to Ian McCall. Let's then get to Tannadice. Dundee United at home to Hibs, and hear from Alan Preston.
Well, it's 1-1 at half-time, Ken. It's been a brilliant 45 minutes, and Hibs should have dominated it, should be ahead. Nicky Cadden hit the side net and early on, then Cadden, who's been sensational with the use of the ball on the left-hand side, his cross found Boyle, and he was very close to it. But United took the lead in 20 minutes. Ferry threw a long throw, and eventually it works its way back to him. He dug a cross out. It was then rolled back by Waters to Stevenson, and his quick shot found the bottom corner. Salinger then almost gifted United a second with a kick out went to Stevenson. He headed it to Waters, but his shot was brilliantly blocked by Hanley. But Hibs again kept going forward, and that man Cadden again, his cross found Bowie, and you thought he's going to hit it, but he just doesn't get enough on it with his right foot. Then Bowie does have a shot just wide of the target, but the equaliser came in 38 minutes. Cadden corner flicked on, and there was Martin Boyle at the back post on his own, hitting the ball into the ground, into the back of the net. Boyle then had a deflected shot just wide, and Mitchell crashed her header off the bar. Hibs should be ahead. Dundee United are still in it. Dundee United 1, Hibs 1.
Thanks to Alan Preston. Next stop, Rugby Park. Kilmarnock at home to Falkirk. The half-time report comes from Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, indeed, Kenny. It's 0-0 here, and it's probably lacked a little bit of quality. You can see both sides just struggling for a little bit of form. Falkirk 4 games without a win coming into this one. Kilmarnock 10 games. I spoke during the game, the shape's been changed from Kilmarnock. They look a little bit more at ease as the game has went on. It was Brian Graham actually who had the first attempt on goal, shot from 25 yards at Oluwayemi, saved quite comfortably right just into his mid-drift. After that, it was Kilmarnock probably took control. Brad Lyons had a shot that went past the left-hand post. 10 minutes later, the shot went past the right-hand post. He felt as if they were building up a little bit of momentum, and David Watson probably had the best opportunity about 5 minutes before half-time. Cross from the right-hand side from Greg Kilty. He got across Liam Henderson, got the first touch, but unfortunately couldn't keep it down, couldn't keep it on target. And right on half-time, it was almost a sucker punch from Falkirk. Cross from the left-hand side from Calvin Miller. Delightful ball. Craig Wilson had just peeled off the back post, headed it back on target. The goalkeeper was beaten. It was cleared off the line by Lewis Mayo. So a huge sigh of relief from the Kilmarnock fans. Falkirk probably have to do a little bit more. They've been tidy enough with the ball, but have lacked that cutting edge. For Kilmarnock, they just need that opening goal just to lift this place and try and give them a little bit of momentum in the game. But half-time here at Rugby Park, Kilmarnock 0, Falkirk 0.
Next stop, the Smyster Stadium, St Mirren at home to Livingston. Rory Loy is there for us.
Yes, indeed, Kenny, and similarly to Stephen in Ian's games, I can't offer you a goal. However, I can offer you a good few St Mirren chances. The first coming on 7 minutes, where a low ball across the box was blocked after a Junga connected with it. It looked like it was goal bound, but it was blocked for a corner. Pretty unlucky on that occasion. And a minute later, from the corner, the ball was bouncing around the box everywhere. A Junga somehow couldn't quite manage to direct it towards the goals. Not much action between the 8th and the 25th minute when a real mistake in the midfield from Livingston gave the ball to Ndulu. He drove forward, played it across to Ayunga, who was one-on-one with the goalkeeper. However, unfortunately for him, it went straight at Jerome Pryor. So a decent save in the end, but the finish was poor, it has to be said. Ayunga had a header from a Marcus Fraser cross which went wide, and another scramble in the box around 40 minutes. Livingston have shown a little bit of signs of life at times, managed to force a few corners but no real chances at all. They simply need to do more if they want to take 3 points from this game. At half time it's St Mirren 0, Livingston 0.
Thank you to Rory Loy. So in the Premiership this afternoon, Dundee United 1, Hibs 1, Kilmarnock 0, Falkirk 0, Motherwell 0, Dundee 0, St Mirren 0, Livingston 0. We are at 3 games in the Championship today. First stop, the leaders at home to Morton. There for us is Willie Miller.
Yeah, Kenny, very impressive first half from the home side. They sit at the top of the table, as you said, and on this performance they're going to take a bit of catching. They've dominated the first 45, no doubt about that. Morton had warnings early on with McPake down the left and Sidibe down the right, both flashing in crosses that unfortunately for them didn't just manage to get a touch as they kind of went to the other side of the park, but they did take the lead on 12 minutes, and it was Josh McPake. It was rather solo effort coming in from the left hand side onto his right foot, took on 2 players. He's hit the ball on the turn as he's going away from the goal, some 22, 23, maybe even 24 yards out. It's went low, a real daisy cutter into the far corner, giving the goalkeeper no chance. On 24 minutes increased that lead. That was McPake that was a provider this time, down the left hand side, cross into the box, just flashing it across the face of it, and Sam Stanton this time managed to time his run and rifle it into the roof of the net. And then in 39 minutes Sidibe down the right hand side, the Morton defence was all over the place. He took his time, he picked out Jamie Gullen. His first attempt, bad first touch. Firstly, his first attempt and goal was poor. The rebound came to him and he made no mistake with a second chance rifling it into the back of the net to give a very deserved half-time lead here for the home side. It's St Johnstone 3, Morton 0.
Thanks to Willie. Next stop, Firhill, Partick Thistle at home to Wraith Rovers. Let's hear from Chick Young.
Yeah, no goals. Firhill for nils, right enough. It's Thistle and Wraith Rovers not creating very much in terms of chances. Not many goal-mouth thrills and spills this afternoon at the old ground. Blow for Wraith Rovers in that first half when Paul Hanlon, after a lengthy delay and a lot of treatment, limped off the park to be replaced by Josh Mullen. There have been 1 or 2 opportunities at either ends. The best chances for Thistle involving Tony Watt, Logan Chalmers as well involved with Latoso, brought a couple of saves from the goalkeeper Josh Ray, but at the other end there hasn't been much for Josh Clark to do in the Partick Thistle goal. So we're expecting much more in the second half. News, of course, of St Johnstone romping to 3 points up the road at Perth has already seeped through to the Partick Thistle fans. They desperately want a win to stay in touch with Saints at the top of the table. At the moment, it doesn't look like coming. It doesn't look as if we're going to get a goal. And as I said, Firhill for nils.
Plenty of goals at East End Park. Dunfermline home to Ayr United. Let's hear from Amy Canavan.
Sure, there's plenty of goals, Kenny. Half time, Dunfermline Athletic 0, Ayr United 3. What a half from the honest men. It was a superb start for Scott Brown's side here at East End Park, taking the lead after just 5 minutes. It started out on the left from Jamie Murphy. The veteran midfielder has been pulling the strings in the first half. He slipped in Marco Russi, then rolled it back into the middle of the box for the onrush and Mark McKenzie, who just stepped onto it and slotted home his 7th in the league. 7 minutes after that, he was substituted, but it didn't affect Ayr, who doubled their advantage after 27 minutes. Ben Dempsey's shot just outside the box took a deflection and sat perfectly for Anton Dowds. The Dunfermline defence stood like statues. They appeared adamant that the striker was offside, but the flag was not raised and he nodded in a simple second. The Pars were desperate for half-time, in dire need of a reset, as they just haven't tested Liam Russell in the Ayr goal at all. But with the last kick of the ball before the break, defender Leon King smashed home after a stramash in the box, with Dunfermline unable to clear their lines from a corner. A Pars punter behind me shouted, "Give yourselves a shake," after the second goal. 3-0 down at the break. They need much more than a shake in there. It is at half-time. Dunfermline Athletic 0, Ayr United 3.
At least he was polite. So in the Championship, Airdrie 0, Queen's Park 1, Dunfermline 0, Ayr United 3, Partick Thistle 0, Wraith Rovers 0, Ross County 0, Arbroath 1. What a season they are having. St Johnstone 3, Morton 0. In League 1 this afternoon, East Fife 0, Peterhead 1, Hamilton Accies 1, Alloa Athletic 0, Kelty Hearts 2, Cove Rangers 1. Queen of the South have just gone ahead at home to Montrose, Stenishmuir 0, Inverness, Cali Thistle 0. And in League 2, Clyde 0, Stirling Albion 1, East Kilbride 1, Annan Athletic 2, Forfar 1, Edinburgh City 1, Spartans 0, Elgin City 0, Stranraer 1, Dumbarton 0. Down in England, full-time score, Newcastle United 2, Chelsea 2, 3 o'clock kick-offs, Bournemouth 0, Burnley 0, Brighton 0, Sunderland 0, Manchester City 2, West Ham United 0, and Wolves 0, Brentford 0.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
Goal! From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome back to Open the Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. Just confirmation that goal scorer for Queen of the South, Michael Hewitt, on 48 minutes, 1-0 up at home to Montrose. Ian McCall probably just bounced back around the grounds. You were on with us last week. I was in the studio with Michael and Tom. The shock on our faces as the goals rained in at Starks Park. We all feared the worst for Tony Docherty. The news was confirmed, of course, on Sunday. I mean, what do you think the issue is there? I know you touched before about your concerns around the recruitment in the summer, but regardless of that, surely these players should be doing a whole lot better.
Yeah, well, of course they should. Yeah, I mean, I think most of us agreed in the studio that it's the type of result you get that usually causes something if you're on a really bad run. But B, I think most of us thought he deserved to go in to see the window to try and get in 3 or 4 of his own guys. I know he's been able to get in short-term loans, but guys that he's kind of scouted, he's identified. There's certainly, I mean, there has been 1 or 2 injuries, but the squad, I mean, I don't know what the squad size is. It must be, it's well over 30. So, the players they have, I've said before that I felt it was lazy. That's my opinion. Their scouting, their talent identification, but definitely they should be doing a lot better. I will say Arbroath have identified really good loan players this year, and not your usual Arbroath type players that can play in wind. The wind wouldn't suit them because there's some real good Finlay, Stephen and Finlay Marshall. Yeah. A lot of really good players. They're a good side, and the wee boy that was at St Mirren, what's his name again, playing centre midfield? Fraser Taylor. Aye, I mean they're playing some really good stuff. But listen, the Ross County thing, it's I thought Tony should have got another, should have got into the window. But when you're on a bad run, I think when you're in the game a while, you just sense someone, if you're going 3-0 down and there's 20 minutes gone, then there's another going in, then another going in. You just felt,
I couldn't believe what I was watching.
If something was going to happen, then unfortunately that was when it was going to happen.
Rory, you were there. Was there anything obvious? Had the players chucked it? I mean, what did you sense being at the ground? Just looking at the live table, Rory, right now. County 12 points, 5 adrift the sting stand of Airdrie and Queen's Park. What did you see, Rory?
I mean, I would hesitate to say that the players chucked it. I've been in teams that are struggling. I've been in teams that have been on the end of heavy defeats, and you never chuck it as a player. However, with a lack of confidence comes indecision, and with indecision comes mistakes, and they just start to snowball. But I mean, with some of the players that Ross County have got available to them, I mentioned some last week. It's a goal for St Mirren. Really good run down the right hand side. It's put in, and I think it's Jonah Ayunga at the front post. Livingston haven't learned a lesson. He made a similar run in the first half. That got blocked. This one didn't. Tidy finish. 1-0 St Mirren.
Good goal. Really good goal. Yeah, as Rory was talking about there, well worked move down the right hand side, and Ayunga making a run across the near post and guides it on target at the back of the net. Strong, good play, and exactly what St Mirren. Oh, I was quite interested in hearing.
Was it Ndulu that put it in the box?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been superb all day.
It's good. It's really good. It's just general good link-up play. He's ragdolled.
He's totally, isn't he?
Aye.
He's left him in a heap on the ground, totally legally. I mean, he's just used his physicality, and he's just left him.
Yeah. Wasn't it interesting last weekend when Ayunga got 2?
Yeah.
I think Mikael Mandron was sick overnight, so didn't start. So the question would have been, would he have started if Mandron had been fit? who knows? I don't know the outcome, whether Stephen's going to start with Ndula or whether he's going to start with the Ayunga alongside Mandron. But Mandron was going to start.
He's got good options, Stephen, hasn't he?
But +1. So, say Mandron's fit last week and Ayunga doesn't get his moment. He doesn't get his 2 goals. He doesn't get his goal today.
To VAR. I'm not quite sure why.
They're not giving that a foul, are they?
Apparently in the build-up, I didn't see anything, but it is the complete opposite side of the pitch.
It's Lundaloo on Finlayson, and again, obviously it's the screen in the bottom corner from us. I've not seen anything specific, but
He's
the
holding
replay,
his face, I think, Michael. So I don't know if it was maybe like a flail alarm.
Well, the replay will hopefully show us.
Here we go.
No, what you mean? You can't tell there. You still can't tell.
He sticks his arm
out.
It's
not taking long. He's not taking long. He's come back onto the pitch.
No.
Goal ruled out. Free kick to Livingston. He did not take long at all at the screen.
I think the claim is that his left hand caught him in the face, the defender in the face.
Oh,
there was no
certainly
force.
Holding his face, Tom.
Again, I've got to say, this is the small screen in the bottom corner, and they're showing it from afar. But it looks to me, he's knocked it past Finlayson. Here, this is a better one. And he's got his lip. That is nonsense.
No, unbelievable.
That is absolute nonsense.
It's a terrible decision.
I mean, there's Stephen Robinson and St Mirren done again with a horrific VAR decision. That's a good goal. That is absolutely unacceptable from VAR.
And the views, and I'm closest to the screen here, and the views that I've seen, that looks a ridiculous decision. But there may be another angle. I don't know.
Let's see if there are other angles.
But Kenny, right? Kenny,
let's see.
Having seen the replays now, if you know anything about football, you know what's happened there, right? He's knocked it past him. He's running, and he's trailing arm. I didn't hear that.
He said when you said if you knew anything about football, McCall said it. You can rule that one out.
Yeah,
right, keep going.
Yeah. Fair point. And his trailing arm might well catch him slightly, but he's just running.
Yeah.
And he's shielding.
Natural position, natural running style,
yes.
Michael. Nothing different.
There was no force or anything, was there?
It wasn't even as if he was trying to shove him away. Nothing.
Tom, you're talking about looking at other angles. I mean, I don't know how many angles Chris Graham's seen, but I mean, he wasn't at the screen long.
Wasn't it? It was very quick.
15, 20 seconds.
Well, the angles we got, which I'm presuming are the same as VAR because it's the screens that are coming up, it was the wide shot. After the fact, we got to see a couple of others from a different angle that were closer up, which only confirmed what I think all of us were already feeling. So I don't know why they didn't show closer up images as well.
But we can maybe get a wee video. We can have a wee look at. You guys have a closer look, okay? Let's see if we got a video in the studio here, right?
Shocking.
Unless he has caught him in a more meaningful way than we think.
Yeah.
But certainly on our evidence that we have so far, looks a very unjust decision.
But this comes back to VAR trying to find reasons to chalk off goals. This is what fans want, is goals in games. And VAR, somebody sitting in a room miles away, is chalking things off for no good reason.
Something tells me there must be another angle, Michael, because from what we've seen, you're right, it looks a ridiculous decision, but they made it so quickly. Surely they feel they've got cast iron.
I assume Chris Graham got that angle first.
Right. That maybe
also,
that's the thing.
Remember, VAR doesn't rule it out. The referee has to go and have a look, and then he decides. Yes, he's given the option. So VAR just shows him the angle, allows the referee to make his mind up, having a second look, because he thinks it's a foul.
From what Michael and Tom are saying, though, Craig, it shouldn't even be.
Yeah, that's the whole point. VAR shouldn't be calling him over in the first instance.
No, it shouldn't be.
So you've
subjective normally stays on field.
So you've actually got like 3 stages here. That real time, the ref doesn't give anything. VAR shouldn't be getting involved in that, in my opinion.
Oh, Brian Graham has got a goal. He's been anonymous for most of the game. He's had to fight and battle with Lewis Mayo and Robbie Dees have got the better of him down the left-hand side. I think it's possibly Lewis McCann. Someone puts a cross in, the ball bounces about, and eventually comes to Brian Graham in the middle of the 6-yard box, hits off his thigh, drops down and just lifts it over the goalkeeper, and it's the away side who have probably been better in the second half. They lead by 1 goal to nil. They break their goal drought.
Big travelling support down there, Crags, today.
Yeah, there is. The top tier is almost full. There's maybe a couple of hundred seats, Kenny, and that's the one thing about Falkirk. They've added something to the league.
On the field and support as well. A heavy touch.
Alan.
Oh, it's a chance for Dundee United there. It's a flick on and he's through. Waters it is. It just takes a really heavy touch into the keeper's hands. Chance for United.
And of course the irony is it's Brian Graham who used to play under Chris Doolan when he was manager of Partick Thistle, actually took his place as manager until the end of the season, and there he goes, just another little knife twisted in there, 1-0 to Falkirk.
There's always a story, always a story. Yeah, big goal that down there at Rugby Park. Before we bounce around the ground, any a wee stab at a present for someone in Scottish football?
Yes, I'll get Derek McInnes Brasso in a cloth.
a set of binoculars for Willie Collum and his vacuum.
Tom?
Well, Stuart Cosgrove gave me a present, didn't he, and off the ball?
He did.
So I'm going to give him one in return. I'm going to round up the Super Soaraway St Johnstone squad. I'm going to get them into a recording studio, get them to record the Motown or Southern Soul's greatest hits medley.
Murder it,
and then see if he still loves St Johnstone after it.
Yes, he is a king of soul.
That's his big ticket. Get the St Johnstone players belting out the Northern Soul tunes and make Stuart listen to it.
I hope he's listening. Anyone else got a wee shout out?
Yeah, Ken, I was just thinking after watching that Jake Paul and Joshua fight last night, we could get a pair of boxing gloves and a gum shields each for Tom and Michael. We'd love to see them in the ring, wouldn't we?
You know,
we'd
you're
love
not
to see them
wait a minute,
knock their heads off each other.
I'd be the answer to Joshua, obviously.
Craigs, you're not getting away with that without telling us who would win that fight.
Well, Tom would need a couple of months probably to get in a little bit better shape.
That's fair comment.
Years.
That's fair comment. Craigs, you can be my personal trainer. A couple of months will do it, man.
I'm in. Monday Night Club will have Tom.
Okay, excellent.
Anyone else?
Kerridine very kindly brought me along a couple of Kit Kats to enjoy with my coffee. I put one in my pocket, and I think I'll give one to Wilfred Nancy, because as poor as he's been, that guy deserves a break.
Terrible.
I think Chick Young sent you that.
I always got Chick's joke food.
Or indeed 2 fingers.
That is a joke. I've eaten the 2 of them.
I'm sure they used to get a taxi with a chocolate bar. Maybe you can get one of them at all.
Yeah, I remember a taxi. Chick, you must have one for us.
Yes, I want to buy a knighthood for the manager of St Mirren. And don't be telling me, Kenny, you can't buy knighthoods.
Brilliant. Right, let's know.
That good save,
right,
Megwa. Dundee United have started the second half well, but Hibs have just gone up the attack. There's another poor pass found Boyle. Here's a shot, goes back to Megwa. Here's a shot, keeper saves it.
I'm just looking at the replay of the. I mean, it's as bad as we thought.
Is it right? Okay, so just see for the listeners.
Just running.
Tell us what happened. For the listeners, tell us what happened.
Lundaloo, he spins Finlayson down the line, and as he's running away, his left arm, as a normal running motion, perhaps catches. And by the way, it's not his arm; it's his hand at full stretch. And may well have touched him slightly.
Here, boys. There's a fight broken out. There's almost all the players on the pitch, apart from the goalkeepers, involved in a real get together on the far side. There was a challenge with flying in. The referee's trying to sort it out now. Players from both sides coming together in front of the technical areas all on the far side at Firhill. The referee's calmed it all down now. He's picked 1 or 2 out, Kenny. We'll see what happens. I'm sure at least yellow cards will be flashed here, but tempers. That's about the hottest thing that's happened in this game so far.
That is an absolute outrageous.
The one at the Smicer.
Absolute. And by the way, it's not even as if his arm is. I mean, you know, Finlayson is actually ducking down, you know, a little bit. His body's coming down. Lundaloo's arm's not high, and he. I mean, honestly. This infuriates the life
Michael,
out of me.
And I'm not going to repeat what you've just said and explaining it, because you've explained it perfectly, but I've just been sent the video, Kenny, and Stephen Robinson will be irate after the game, because I mean, you need to move your arms to run. It's just coincidental. Catches him on the face. It's never a foul.
Right, do you know what we'll hear from Stephen Robinson post-match? It's going to be very interesting if they don't find a breakthrough here, and potentially that situation costs them 3 points, because fantastic last weekend, but they need to start moving up the league. Alan Preston.
That's a brilliant tackle by Sybil in the middle of the park. He rolls it to Sapsford. I thought, take a touch. He elects to hit it first time, balloons it over the top of the bar. Really good start to the second half from both sides, has got to be said here at Tannadice, but still 1-1.
Right, let's get back to the game at Fir Park. Motherwell home to the knee. What's happening, Ian McCall?
Kenny, it's just Motherwell pressure without actually creating any chances. But I mean, Dundee just cannot get up the field. I mean, once they press the ball which lasts about 3 seconds, they just retreat behind the ball. I mean, they're trying to leave the 2 wingers up, but it's basically turning into 4-5-1, and they're just wanting Motherwell to play through them, and they're finding it hard. I mean, there's been a bit of Motherwell pressure, but there's not been any real chances. They've made a couple of changes. They brought on Tom Sparrow and Ibrahim Said, but you know, they've been sloppy since the start of the game. They should be winning it, but this is a big game for Motherwell. If they want to progress and stay as a serious contender for the top 3, 2, potentially 1,
chance.
Got to win.
Yes, Rory Loy.
Yeah, Killian Phillips, the ball gets flashed across the goal. I think Pride actually gets a touch on it, and it comes out to Killian Phillips, and it's blocked again. I mean, the amount of chances St Mirren have had in this game has been unbelievable. I would say Stephen Robinson will be kicking himself for not taking any of them, but they have taken one, and it was ruled out. So, look, there's only one team in the ascendancy at this moment in time. I don't want to jinx them, but Livingston have showed absolutely nothing in the second half to suggest they're going to score a goal. But it is still 0-0, unbelievably.
I've been watching it a few times this season. They do play in spurts. It's 10, 15, 20 minute spurts. I watched it. Livingston dominated Dundee United, Brown in the second half. It was the same the other night against Celtic. It's the same here. They've started the second half really well, Dundee United, really well, forcing the issue here. Still 1-1.
I think, Michael, I think what you said there was very interesting about VAR. They go to look a reason to rule out the goal, not a reason to give the goal. I think that's a very fair point you made. I don't say that often.
And check, I mean, I saw comments today about the VAR review thing from the other day, and I had to go and look at some of that, and honestly, they just create narratives after the fact to back up the decisions that were made as well. And honestly, I can't believe how infuriating it is to see totally illogical arguments being put forward to try to justify and defend the indefensible.
I still can't figure out the Diamondi one. And I've watched Willie Collum, I've watched the review, and I still don't get it.
The VAR officials are in the room and they go, pause it there, yeah, right, it's in the box, and then it just cuts to, right, the ball's going nowhere, so it's nothing. It's like, what? It's totally illogical.
Well, I know the Motherwell fan that's going to join us. He's first up in the calls at 5:30 tonight. He was messaging last night to say he watched the VAR review programme. He said he was shouting. He was getting really, really frustrated.
A really good chance for Motherwell there.
Yes, Ian.
Just after you left me there, it was Callum Hendry again. Really nice little pass from the substitute, Ibrahim Said. He's been really good, Callum Hendry. Got it onto his left foot, flashed it across the goal. He probably should have found a far corner, but didn't, so it remains 0-0.
Right. I was just going to say, there was a goal at East End Park, earlier on. I think it was Anton Downs, and Amy was saying, maybe offside, whatever. Yes. I would now, every day of the week, take that over what we're getting in the top flight. Well, a little bit of uncertainty.
I said this last week, Michael. Are we now at the situation whereby you would take the mistakes happening as opposed to things that have been looked at several times and then come with the wrong decision?
That would only last a while.
Red card.
Right, check.
Yeah, Wraith Rovers down to 10 men. A red card flashed on the far side. It was a yellow, second yellow. We had that Rami earlier on, Kenny. There's been a red card flashed. I'll just tell you in a second. He's going off. But Wraith Rovers down to 10 men.
Yeah, real drama there. No goals, but plenty of action on the park, as Chick's been telling us.
If you took away VAR, people would complain that there's no VAR because bad decisions. But Michael, it's been that way forever. People complain and people alleging certain things about referees.
But not now.
Right, listen,
we've experienced it.
We'll come back to it. Listen, we'll come back to it. We'll go on the television. We'll come back to this. I won't just continue around the grounds. Let's get back to the game at Rugby Park. Stephen Craig and the Wayside, good value for their lead.
Well, probably on how they played in the second half. I think Kilmarnock certainly edged the first half, Kenny. The chances they had, David Watson was the best one at the near post. He'll probably regret not hitting the back of the net. But certainly since the goal, Falkirk have looked really bright and really strong. They found an extra gear. You get a little spring in your step. Because you haven't been scoring goals, you feel sorry for yourself, you lack a little bit of confidence. They've got that back. They actually could have been 2-0. Kyril Wilson just nipped in ahead of Lewis Mayo about 40 yards from goal, ran through. The ball ended up getting caught under his feet, didn't get enough power in the shot, was saved by the goalkeeper. However, Kilmarnock are going to have to do something now because Falkirk really have the bit between their teeth.
Right, Wolves 0, Brentford 1, Keane Lewis Potter in 63 minutes, and there was another goal went through. I saw somewhere that Edinburgh City were back in front, I think 2-1 up away from home. Just looking for that goal. It's disappeared off my screen right now. Here it is. Former whatever City 2, Greg Allen, 61 minutes. Sorry?
I'm saying that's what happened. VAR got involved. It disappeared.
There's a goal. That's sending off, Kenny.
Yes.
There was a real rammy in the far side. 4 players received yellow cards. One of them was Josh Mullen, and he just got a second one for that ridiculous tackle. And it was a ridiculous challenge. Second yellow card, and he was sent off. And remember, Josh Mullen was the man who came on to replace Paul Hanlon earlier on when he went off with a pretty bad injury. So in some afternoon for him, it's still 0-0.
Motherwell just missed an absolute sitter, Kenny.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's a brilliant cross in the box. It's all Motherwell now. They've missed 2 or 3 chances already this half, but it's come to Callum Hendry, who could have scored 2 or 3 today already. Point blank header from about 5-6 yards. Straight at the goalie. I mean, the goalie McCracken's made a decent save, but either side of him, it's a definite goal. Motherwell really turning the screw, but still 0-0.
Colin, that's been the issue with Motherwell. I said it last week on Sports, saying that Callum Hendry hasn't scored a league goal for Motherwell.
He's played really well as well, but he just
he does play really well, but he doesn't score goals.
He's good,
And Stamatilopoulos has scored 1 goal from open play.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, if you add someone in there who could get 8, 9, 10, 11 goals, you're in a completely different position.
Dunfermline have one back.
Right, Amy.
I have no idea who scored in the far corner. It's a looping ball from Robbie Fraser. It's just high in the sky, hanging into the back post. Liam Russell is right underneath it. It's a melee between himself. There's a couple of air defenders in there, and it's the post. Somehow it's nudged, and it might be Chilikowa Moen, but it's a goal for Dunfermline, and they really will not care who it is at this stage. Dunfermline 1. There you go. It's Kieran Ngwenya. Dunfermline 1, Ayr United 3.
Yeah, perhaps a lifeline for Neil Lennon's side. Also in the Championship, the goals are actually flying in this afternoon. Airdrie 0, Queen's Park 2. Josh Fowler with his second of the game there in 64 minutes.
So we've had a bit of a chat about the controversy of VAR. Time to get stuck into a really, really contentious issue. Ollie McBurney has scored again for Hull, Mikey.
Oh my God.
Now he's the top scorer in that league. He's
10 goals in 14 games. Strong case, Alan. McBurney for Scotland.
Is anybody even contemplating?
I think you've got to look at everybody, Michael.
You have to look at everybody.
He's
10 goals in 14 games.
He's been looked at.
Euros, got an injury and was out. You've got to look at everybody.
He's been looked at.
Michael's the voice of sanity in this programme. I never thought I'd say that.
You're
twice today, Michael.
You're in denial. 10 goals in 14 games.
Surely you got a striker and for him, though.
Denial of what?
Denial of 10 goals in 14 games.
Don't be silly.
I'm not making it up, Chick. He's actually scored 10 goals.
But you know what the thing is, Chick? He knows himself that it's utter nonsense.
I know I don't.
So you would take him?
I would bring him in the squad in March.
What have you, honestly?
Okay. Explain to me what is your problem with 10 goals in 14 games?
He's hopeless.
Is he ahead of Bowie right now?
For me, yes.
He's not even ahead of David Bowie.
Okay.
Well, actually,
not sure he qualifies for a number of reasons, but
right.
Anyway.
Actually, there's a good point coming from one of the listeners. I actually wanted to put to you, Michael. Scott said not getting Dykes has cost us. Bowie isn't a pure number 9, and it shows. Is that a relevant point?
Yes.
I think not getting Dykes or getting Dykes would have been a huge positive. Absolutely. Kieran Bowie's not a normal number 9. I'm not sure, but he's definitely, he's.
Oh my goodness gracious me!
Yes,
it's another goal for Dunfermline.
Oh!
Wow! Just a couple of weeks ago, we saw Ayr squander a 2-goal lead at home to St Johnstone on the BBC, and my goodness, they are falling apart here in the second half. Dunfermline's been absolutely all over them again. I'm not sure who has bundled it in, but they have got a second back, and it's Dunfermline 2. This time it is Jeremy Rakaya Moen, and it is Dunfermline 2, Ayr United 3.
What a goal, Kenny! What a goal, Kenny, here that's sprung into life in the second half of this game, because it's been pretty depressing up to that moment when Jamie Gillan got the free kick some 25 yards out left hand side, a little bit of an angle on it as well. He's hit it with his right foot into the top corner. Absolutely no way that the goalkeeper Storer can get anywhere near it. Quality 4-0 St Johnstone.
An absolute romp up there. So just some goals going. Spartans 1, Elgin City 0. Ayrton Sonka with that goal in 67 minutes. Stenhousemuir ahead against the league leaders Inverness, Carrick-Thistle, Ollie White on 65. Bournemouth 1, Burnley 0. This boy's certainly he's a lot of attention, a lot of focus on him. Anton Semenyo with that goal in 67 minutes. Seems to have a big future ahead with Manchester City 3, West Ham United 0. Here we go.
And I think it's substitute Mikel Mandaron that's put it in the net. It might be Ayunga, it's difficult to see from here, but it's a really good finish. It's not dissimilar, but from the other side, it's Declan John once again, like he did at Hampden last week, sprinting up the left-hand side. He cuts it across, and there he is to finish. Thoroughly deserved. Livingston once again not learning their lesson. They haven't been near the goals in this second half, and St Mirren deservedly take the lead. 1-0.
It's Mandaron. Yep.
Mandaron.
Yep. But, well, we'll wait and see if there's anything.
Any issues in the build-up? No throwing issues or free kicks anywhere? There must be something.
We'll wait and see. Aye. Maybe. Probably.
Right,
possibly.
let's hold off on the celebrations just yet.
Yeah.
That's 3 times that's happened, that scenario, and Livingston have looked vulnerable every time.
Maybe find it offside.
This game here has looked like a cup game, and Livingston are holding on for dear life, being a championship side who just want to get to 90 minutes. They have shown no ambition whatsoever to get up the pitch, and St Mirren thoroughly deserve that.
Yeah, Rory, is that because of St Mirren's pressure and their intensity and how they're playing, or is it because Livingston are wanting to set off and try and make a point?
Listen, St Mirren have played well. They have, and they've created chances, but Tete Yengi up front hasn't looked great at all. Very, very raw, Craigs, and I would say it's a bit of both. There's sarcastic cheering as the kick-off takes place and there's no VAR check. I would say it's a bit of both. Livingston have been really, really poor. As poor as I think I've ever seen them, to be totally honest with you. They've just got no bite, and St Mirren just look bigger, stronger, more physical, more tactically astute. They just, everything about them just looks far superior. So they've played well, St Mirren, but Livingston have been way below it.
See if anyone wants to jump in, just hold fire. We're about to go on television, so we'll go around the grounds, we'll get more detail from you. I want to just develop that point on Bowie. I think it was Ian that jumped in. Someone certainly jumped in agreeing with the listener's point there, but he's not a natural number 9. We'll bounce around the grounds. Remember, on the telly in a few seconds time till 5:15, we're on the radio from 5:30 right through until 7 o'clock with reaction from the fans. So plenty to come on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Welcome to viewers who have joined us on BBC One Scotland. There are so many stories developing right across the country this afternoon. Michael Stewart and Tom English are alongside me in the studio. The game's kicked off at 3 o'clock. Let's take a bounce around the grounds. Let's get to Fir Park. Motherwell are up against Dundee. There for us is Ian McCall.
Yeah, 73 minutes going, Kenny, and this game has got Motherwell 0, Dundee 1 written all over it, because Motherwell have been still 0-0 just now. Motherwell have just been so dominant. I don't think, without ever playing at their best, but in the second half they've had chance after chance. Callum Hendry has really got to score with a header. Slattery's had a shot. I mean, I think every one of the Motherwell forwards has had a chance at goal. They've had 4, 5, 6 chances. One coming now it's out for a corner. So Motherwell very much on top. I've been involved in many games like this, so that the opposition goes up the other end of the park and gets an undeserved winner. So still 0-0 at Fir Park.
Ian, you were saying earlier on you feel this is a big game for the home side today. We don't know if they get title aspirations, but certainly if they're looking to be top 3 come the end of the season, this is a game that should be looking to win.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I looked at the stats. I mean, the last 5 games, obviously they haven't conceded a goal, but they've had something like 65% on possession on average. I can't remember another team in Scotland out of the Celtic Rangers that have done that over that kind of period, and maybe that's why their defensive record is so good, because other teams seldom have the ball. Maybe it's as simple as that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big game, because going to Rangers on the back of a disappointing draw or even a defeat, would not be what the Motherwell manager and the Motherwell players want. The type of season they've had, I think Stephen Craigan's right. I think they just need a consistent goal scorer, and by that I don't mean somebody who's going to score. I don't mean a Lon Shankland who's going to score 30 goals. Somebody that maybe gets 8 to 12 goals. If they had that, they could be 5, 6, 7 points better off just now, and they'd be right beside Hearts at the top of the league. So yeah, it's a big last, whatever it is, 15 minutes for Motherwell.
And it's a huge 50 minutes, Tom, of course, for Dundee. They can get a point there this afternoon. That could be really precious for them.
Yeah, like, I mean, they need obviously they need as many points as they can get their hands on. They're down in 10th, and they're funny, aren't they, Dundee? When you begin to think, they're looking serious trouble here, they dig something out, and they're digging something out against a very, very good team today.
Maswini's is a miss.
Yeah,
big miss.
He's a big miss. When you talk about obviously a goal scorer, I mean, he's the guy that's actually in that sphere at the moment, along with somebody that comes up with assists as well. I think he's on 8 at the moment. But if you were able to add, like the guys are talking about, somebody else who was in that sort of realm as well, double figures, you know, if you're able to get a few, then you're able to, you know, pick up a few more wins. But yeah, I think he's going to be a miss while he's away.
Yeah, Forfar back in at home to Edinburgh City. Jake Southern with a goal there. Yes, that's another goal.
5th goal here, yeah.
McDermott Park, Willie Miller's there for us.
I think it is. It gets the header across from the left-hand side, and Sidibe coming in off the right. He just glances it into the back of the net. So it's now 5. So it's a bit of a romp, and they're looking like much looking like champions. Are St Johnstone this afternoon. It's been a stroll in the park for them. 5-0.
You've seen them many times this season for us, Willie. You've been very impressed with the style of play under Simo Valakari.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's a calmness about them as well. Any time that I've watched them early in the season, they weren't scoring the goals. Obviously, that's turned around big time, and they've managed to find the back of the net more regularly. They're strong throughout, strong at the back, creative in midfield. Jason Holt in particular, huge influence in there. Sidibe's got pace. He has been playing down the right hand side with Gullen through the middle. So McPake with a strike, good save, and of course McPake on the other side as well. So as an attacking force, fabulous. Looks strong at the back and creative in midfield. What's not to like?
Yeah, Josh McPake looks to be on his way to Hearts. He's had an amazing season for St Johnstone. Cove Rangers ahead away at Kelty Hearts. Mitch Megginson with a goal on 76 minutes. Let's then get to the game between Dundee United and Hibs at Tannadice Forest today. Is Alan Preston.
But it's 1-1, Ken. It's an absolute cracker here at Tannadice. Really good. Hibs would count themselves unlucky to be level at half time. They dominated that opening period, had double the possession and had 10 more shots than Dundee United. But it was United that took the lead in 20 minutes. It was Ferry with a cross. He dug it out. The ball then found itself to Waters, and he passed it back to Stevenson. Quickly got the ball out his feet and hit it into the back of the corner, giving the Hibs goalie absolutely no chance. But Hibs had chances. Cadden on the left-hand side was flashing crosses across the box. Boyle missed one. Bowie missed a couple. And Cadden himself had a strike which hit the side netting. But they did equalise in 38 minutes. Cadden's corner was flicked on at the front post. There was Boyle on his own at the back. No one near him to smash it home. And then just before half-time, Mitchell then crashed a header off the bar. Just I said, United, good save by Salinger. Dundee United got better in the second half. It's a much more even game. Salinger's just saved one there from Trapanovsky, but it's 1-1 here at Tannadice.
Yeah, Michael, we touched on this earlier on. A listener got in touch, a Hibs fan. He said, not getting Lyndon Dykes has cost us. Bowie isn't a pure number 9, and it shows. He said to follow up on that, he played the left of number 9 for Northampton when he was on loan from Fulham. He said, and we saw the best of him there. Would you go along with he's not a natural number 9, Kieran Bowie?
No, not really. I think that he definitely plays best when he has somebody up alongside him, and he's still very young. I wouldn't say he's not a natural number 9. I think he's got many attributes, but there's no doubt, you know, his youthfulness is still, there's a level of inconsistency, because he started the season absolutely on fire, and then it's tailed off. The last wee while's been okay, but if you're going to be leading the line exclusively, then you're wanting a wee bit more from him in terms of that consistency. Hence why not getting Lyndon Dykes has been a big miss, because I think if they had him, it would have taken an element of pressure off of Kieran Bowie.
It's been a really poor run for Kilmarnock supporters. They, of course, parted company with Stuart Kettlewell during the week. Stephen Craigan is at Rugby Park for us this afternoon, and it's not got a whole lot better, Stephen.
No, it's a familiar feeling, unfortunately, for Kilmarnock, as has been the last 11 weeks. 10 games without a win, Kenny, coming into this one. And once again, they're having to chase a game to try and get something from it. I have to say they were the better team in the first half. They had a couple of shots from distance. Brad Lands went close, and then David Watson went even closer just before half-time. They couldn't get the breakthrough, but the only goal of the game came after 54 minutes. Cross from the left-hand side from Calvin Miller. With a lovely little touch in the box from Kirill Williams on the right-hand side. Back into the path of Brian Graham, who just lifted the ball over the Kilmarnock goalkeeper, Oluseyi. And from then on in, Kilmarnock, they're pushing, they're probing, they're trying their best. They're just lacking a little bit of quality, that little bit of cutting edge, Kenny, that can get them an equalising goal. Plenty of effort, but they haven't got that finishing touch, and it's still 1-0 here to the visitors.
Yeah, Michael, you were talking earlier on about Kilmarnock, perhaps a lack of width you felt on the side. That's been an issue all season for them.
Well, just the way they'd been set up. I was just asking Stephen, you know, who was in that area today. Obviously, with the manager having
Here's
been
a chance for Hibs. Cleaches through. great save, kicked off the line.
Alan Preston's at Tannadice for us.
Cleagy's just came off the bench for Boyle. He's played through, he tries to just lift over the keeper as he goes down. Keeper gets a good save on it, but it is going in. And the United defender, Harding, gets back. Great game here at Tannadice. It's been really good. Hibs have been excellent. Dundee United coming into the game 1-1.
Yeah, great game. All the games coming into the studio here, and we'll talk about one of the incidents we witnessed in this studio. Let's get to that game right now. The game's at the Smythe Stadium in Paisley. St Mirren home to Livingston. Let's get the latest from Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed, it's currently St Mirren 1, Livingston 0, and it should be more, to be totally honest with you. They dominated the first half, had several chances. Ayunga guilty of missing one or two. And into the second half, the real contentious talking
Rory
point.
Holfire, big goal at Fir Park. Ian McCall is there. Motherwell at home to Dundee.
It's for the home side, and it's been coming. It's for Motherwell. Motherwell 1, Dundee 0. It was just a bog standard cross into the box, but the very, very impressive Watt got on the end of it with a header. Should the goalie have done better? The guys in the studio can tell me, but it's went right into the bottom right hand corner. Pushed Motherwell ahead. It is no more than they deserve. So it's Motherwell 1, Dundee 0.
I think it's Callum Slattery that gets on the end of it.
Oh, it's Slattery. Right,
Mind you, as we've spoken about at length this season, all of them in the midfield, Watt, Fadinger and Slattery, they're all very similar.
Well, I'm wondering how they're going to score from a set player, from a free kick, because they've got no great height.
That's a great header, by the way.
Right header. Yeah.
No, I think it's just angled, arrowed right into the bottom corner. There's no chance. McCracken's got no chance. That is a great header.
All the pace was on the cross. Yep. A terrific cross.
He is. I mean, he's another one. I've liked Slattery for a number of years. Just had injury problems.
What does he bring, Michael?
Goals, quality in the final third.
He times his runs into the box well, and he's good. To be honest, he's really decent in possession. Sometimes you get players that you can have too much of the ball. You know, I know that sounds a bit perverse, but you can have too much of it and you get too much time. Slattery's always, he's never like that.
Ian, given how crazy this season has been, do you think Motherwell could be actual title contenders?
Well, pure from an arithmetic point of view, if they beat Rangers next week, then yes. And do you know what? It would just be brilliant. Listen, can they do it? What are they going to add in January? I don't know. Do they maybe need one, a centre forward? But one of the things I've seen is Gansberto, he seems to change the team around and play the same type of football, and they all know. Well, they've been well coached. They know their jobs. But sometimes I did 2 games recently. Changed 5, and then the following Saturday changed 4. So they've got a real. They've got a real squad. They've thoroughly deserved it today. It was just one of those games. A lot of the ex-pros will know this, that you've played in many games when you've absolutely battered the opposition, and then when they went up the park and you get beat 1-0, and it's a nightmare. So they would thoroughly deserve the goal.
I don't think that Motherwell will be in a title race, but I'll say this: they could well seriously affect it because they're capable of taking points off anybody.
Listen, Michael, if you're asking me if I think they will be, then I don't. But I think it would be great if they were, and if they went to Ibrox and won.
But which they're capable of, Collie. And like the point I'm making is that anybody that's going to Fir Park or has a game against Motherwell, it's another one of those games you're looking at and going, by the way, that's a real tough game. Motherwell have got a great chance of beating anybody. I don't think they'll be able to.
5-1 today, Michael. I can't. When was the last time anyone went to Fir Park and was 5-1? That's, the bookies have got them down as heavy favourites.
The self-belief in the team, the momentum that they've built. I don't think they're going to be in a title race, but they don't have to be in a title race to have an unbelievable season, and that's what they're having. All these Motherwell fans out there will say this is the best they've seen.
Well, one more join us
possibly ever.
Well, we're on the telly till 5:15 today. The radio conversation continues to 7 o'clock. We've got fans joining us, and first up tonight is actually a Motherwell fan. I'm so delighted.
The best ever. And there you were criticising Jens Bertolascu a few short weeks ago when he was talking about trying to change things after 140 odd years of history. Oh yeah, everybody. He came out with comments talking about.
That was Ian McCall, I think.
Every single person criticised him.
Aye, Ian, that was you.
And Thomas just said no.
I said it was the best Motherwell side I have ever seen in my life.
Thomas said this could be the best ever.
Let's be honest, he wasn't reinventing the game, Michael. He just had a little bit of rotation as things go on. It's great.
Craigs,
but he wasn't reinventing the game.
I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy from Tom English. That's all.
Okay. I'm not sure that's fair, to be honest.
Tom does that. He had to go hard.
Say again, Ian.
I'll put my hand up. It was me that said that.
Yeah.
Listen, our game.
Tom jumped on the bandwagon.
Apologise,
right, hold on,
Michael Stewart.
John English deserves a lot of stick on a lot of occasions.
I agree with that.
Not in this one.
Right, Kelty Hearts 2, Cove Rangers 4. Lewis O'Donnell the goal in 82 minutes. Arbroath 2-0 away at Ross County. County are rock bottom of the championship table. They of course sacked Tony Docherty on Sunday. Let's then get back to Rory Loy. That game at the Smythe Stadium, Rory, because I want to bring Michael in on this. Was a hugely contentious decision before St Mirren eventually got themselves in front.
Yes, there was. There really was. It was Ndula who went down the right-hand side, and he ran and crossed it into the box. St Mirren scored from it, however, it was disallowed. And the reason it was disallowed was because Ndula was adjudged to have made contact with Finlayson's face with his hand, which he did make contact. However, in my opinion and other people's opinions, it was completely normal footballing contact. Yes, it was in the face, doesn't necessarily constitute a foul, simply on the basis you catch someone in the face. That can happen, it's a contact sport. Anyway, it was ruled out, we moved on. Declan John went down the left-hand side and crossed, and substitute Mikael Mandaron deservedly put St Mirren 1-0 up. About 5-6 minutes ago, I texted Tom English just to ask how many touches Livingston had in the opposition box in the second half. The reason I did it then was because I fully expected Livingston to throw the kitchen sink at St Mirren. Yep. I'm not one for stats and facts, however I think that's pretty telling that after 80 minutes, if you're bottom of the league, you've had one touch, not shot, not effort on target, one touch in the opposition box after 80 minutes. So St Mirren well worthy of the lead.
You made one big mistake there, Rory. You messaged Tom English for some information. Come on.
But you know, they've been in so many. We said they've been competitive, Livingston, this season, despite their position. They sound to be miles off it today.
I gave him an accurate number. Yeah, this is supposed to be Christmas time, Mikey.
I'm sorry.
Season of goodwill.
Goodwill to all men, including me.
Well done.
We don't want them to change. Right, this VAR call was a big call. We'll get
humbug.
We'll
get over here.
There'll be more coming in a minute, and it's taking the VAR call. But
we have the VAR guidance on the disallowed.
Right,
it's exactly as Rory says.
Right.
St Mirren incident, in the opinion of the VAR, the St Mirren attacker, Ndulu, caught the Livingston player, Finlayson, in the face with his hand or arm. No, so there's no doubting that. But it was...
Thanks for that.
It was minimal.
Right, minimal. For you, it was the wrong call.
It was the wrong call.
Michael?
For me, totally the wrong call.
I think to every single person on planet Earth, apart from VAR and eventually the referee, it's the wrong call. I mean, it's ridiculous. Lundelu had the cheek of running and using his arms while he was running. I mean, honestly, it's so frustrating to see officials finding reasons to chalk off goals with zero understanding of how
Mandaron's
people actually run.
Yeah, another big chance here at the Smythe, Rory.
Yeah, the flag went up. I did think there was a hint of offside. However, he should score, Mandaron. I mean, the amount of times St Mirren have cut Livingston open, yes, that was offside, possibly played to their advantage. But at the same time, this game should be well out of sight. And I said that Livingston, I expected them to throw the kitchen sink. They haven't. St Mirren have looked like the team that's going to go on and score a second. They should be so much more comfortable in this game. They have been competitive this season, Livingston. I've seen them. But today, absolutely not. They've been miles off it.
Right, we heard from Willie Miller earlier on. He is at McDermott Park, so the leaders are cruising this afternoon. What about Partick Thistle, the side that are trying to chase them down? Chick Young is at Firhill for us, that are home to Raith Rovers. What's happening, Chick?
Still 0-0 between Raith Rovers and Partick Thistle. Remember, the Rovers down to 10 men. Josh Mullen was sent off. He came on as a substitute actually for Paul Hanlon. He was booked in a Rami when 4 players were booked in a Rami in the far side, and then he received a second yellow for a pretty crunching tackle, sent off. And Rovers are clearly happy with the point. They wasted time to such an extent actually that the goalkeeper was booked for time wasting, Josh Ray. And Thistle have got the bit between their teeth, are coming forward and wave after wave of attack, get the pressure, get the possession, but actually without creating any clear-cut opportunities and tormenting Rovers. Are coming forward again. You can hear the Jags fans in the background urging their team on. They've got players forward. Here's across deep, far post. Little chances dealt with again. This might be it, Kenny. 2 or 3 players are overpassing this inside the box. Goalkeeper touches around the post. Corner Thistle, and they're ramping up the pressure in the dying minutes.
Yeah, just a minute and a half and stoppage time to go there at Firhill. There has been a feast of goals at East End Park this afternoon. He may hand in for you to enjoy.
It's been a real treat, Kenny, a real tale of 2 halves here at East End Park, but it is Dunfermline Athletic 2, Ayr United 3. A superb first half showing from Ayr had them 3-0 up here before the break, and my goodness, that feels like an absolute lifetime ago. Mark McKenzie slotted in his 7th goal of the season just 5 minutes in, getting on the end of a fine Marco Roos cutback. Lead was doubled after 27 minutes. Anton Dowds nodding in after Ben Dempsey's initial shot was deflected into his path. Dunfermline were adamant that the striker was offside. They stood like statues, but the goal was good. With the last kick of the ball before the break, defender Leon King smashed home a third, initiating boos from the home fans. The Pars failed to clear their lines from a corner, and King was on hand to fire in on the end of a Stramas and seemingly already send Ayr out of sight. But just last week we saw Ayr squander a 2-goal lead against St Johnstone on Friday Night Football on the BBC, and a bright start to the second half from Dunfermline had been rewarded with Kieran Nwenya's 2 goals in 2 minutes. The defender first bundled in at the back post on the end of Robbie Fraser's looping ball before firing home a fine second beyond a hapless Liam Russell in the Ayr goal. He required a bit of treatment actually after that and has been since replaced by David Mitchell, so a change between the sticks for Ayr. They have been all over the shop in the second half, barely got out of their own half, something I wouldn't have believed an hour ago. Due to some stoppages, we are still got a fair few minutes left. The comeback could be complete because Dunfermline are fair piling on the pressure. Dunfermline 2, Ayr United 3.
That's a finished in fair.
All right.
5-0 for St Johnstone.
Yeah, well, we'll come back to Willie for a full-time report. An absolute romp for Sima Valakari's side. Clyde have pulled a goal back at home to Stirling Albion. The trail by 2 goals to one. Dumbarton have equalised late on away at Stranraer. Kay Kirkpatrick with that goal on 92 minutes. Let's get to the games in the top flight this afternoon, because they're actually still very much in the balance, particularly the one up there at Tannadice. One apiece the last time we were with Alan Preston. Dundee United against Hibs. What's happening, Alan?
United have got a corner, Kenny. We've just got over 5 minutes to go here. We'll still be playing, and we've had 10 subs as the ball's in. Headed away by Hanley. Really good ball. Whipped in by Ferry to that near post. It's a brilliant header from Hanley. He's played very well. Been the middle of a back three. A young boy to the right of him, Iredale to the left of him. He's done very, very well, Hanley, today. United are forcing the issue. 5 minutes to go. 1-1.
Bit disappointing, Michael, from Hibs this season, because we've spoken a lot in this programme about the talent that David Gray's got on that squad.
Yeah, I mean, look,
full time at Fir Park.
Oh, deflected shot.
Right, so as you've come back to you, Michael, let's go to Ian McCall. Fir Park, a big win for the home side.
Huge win, and incredibly well deserved. They dominated from start to finish. Finished Motherwell 1, Dundee 0, but they had 5, 6, 7 good chances. I thought they were sloppy in the first half, but Dundee never laid a glove on them. They were really, really poor. They came out of their shell after Motherwell got the goal in the 82nd minute. And they had a couple of kind of wee half chances after that, but I thought Dundee were really, really poor and really negative. I thought Motherwell sloppy, but still way, way better than Dundee. Finished 1-0 here, Kenny.
Right, we'll get more details from Ian later in the programme. Just to go back to Hibs, Michael.
I mean, look, going to Tannadice is no easy, but I think there is just a general feeling that good performances, but not getting the results. If Hibs are able to find something in the last few minutes here, then it certainly goes a fair way to being able to just change that narrative a little bit. But as I said, this game in isolation, a 1-1 draw at Tannadice is not the worst result, but it just is on the back of a lot of big games where they've not been able to see through and get a victory.
I mean, the Motherwell story is just, it carries on and on and on. 30 points, third in the league, only 2 defeats in 18 league games. It's the consistency, and this again. They had a lot of chances today. It's looking, it might not happen for them, but they get that winner, another 3 points, more momentum. It's an amazing, amazing story.
Can they get a striker in January? I suppose that's the challenge now for the Motherwell board.
That's the challenge, yeah. But if they can get one, and the manager looks, I mean, he's doing all the right things. Everything he touches now is coming up trouble.
And the 2 defeats back-to-back against Celtic and Falkirk. You talk about the Celtic game first of all. They were 2-1 up.
Should have won it.
They should have won it, but they shot themselves in the foot.
Yep.
And then the game against Falkirk, they scored a perfectly good goal just to continue.
Full time in Paisley, St Mirren 1, Livingston 0.
Right, let's get to Rory Loy. Fantastic on the back of these amazing scenes for everyone involved with St Mirren Football Club last weekend, Rory, but we'll talk more about them later in the programme. A St Mirren fan will join us, but in terms of the wayside, real concerns about their play today. They just weren't at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you go into the last 5-10 minutes of the game, they had a corner right at the end. That was it. I mean, there was no kitchen sink thrown, given the position, vulnerable position, precarious position they're in. There was no real willingness to try and go and grab a goal as much as they ran about and tried. The lack of quality was stark. St Mirren should have won. It finished 1-0. It really should have ended 3 or 4. I mean, Tanser has a chance at the end there, which is well saved as well by Pryor. So Livingston, really concerning signs here today. St Mirren thoroughly deserved 1-0 winners.
Yeah, a big beaming smile on the face. I don't think it's left his face since last weekend, to be fair, of Stephen Robinson. We'll go to Alan Preston, and I want to get back to the game at Rugby Park, because really concerning times for the away side, but also the counters for that, Stephen Craigan. This could be a big 3 points for Falkirk.
It certainly could be, Kenny. 7 minutes went up for added time. We're 4 minutes into that, and the best chance Kilmarnock have had probably came in the 92nd minute. It was a cross from the right-hand side from Ben Brannan, and Marcus Stackers had a diving header at the near post. It was off target, unfortunately, but for all their effort and all their energy and all their fight and their spirit, they haven't created in the second half in particular a real clear-cut chance. Falkirk have managed the game well. They should have been out of sight. Calvin Miller went through one-on-one and missed. Alfie Aguiman went through one-on-one and missed. And it may come back to bite them, but I have to say, defensively they're standing strong. They've got that winning goal, a really mature performance from them, and it's all now about seeing out the next 2.5 minutes to get, as you say, a huge 3 points.
Yeah, two very happy managers on the screens in front of us here, Jens Bertolascu and Stephen Robinson. Great wins for their teams this afternoon. Will we see a late winner up at Tannadice? Alan Preston.
You know what, you wouldn't back against it for either side at the moment. United have had a shot just blocked down at the edge of the box by Mitchell. The fans behind the goals are shouting for a penalty kick, never a penalty in it. But Eli Youhan, he's just got his player Clegy booked. It's just needlessly gives the ball away. Clegy then has to foul Sibbald. But it looks like he could end. We've got 4 minutes added on here, Kenny, just going into that now. It's been a really good game, very enjoyable for me as a neutral. Very enjoyable, but 1-1.
Chick Young says there's more drama there at Firhill.
Yeah, we've got a free kick. We're well into time added on. There have been 1 red card and 8 bookings in this game so far. It's got a bit fiery, but Thistle have got a free kick right on the arc outside the 18-yard box. There's 2 or 3 players fancy taking this. We'll find out if that chance is presumably, Kenny, the last chance of the game. Thistle, remember.
We'll stay with you.
Thistle, remember, St Johnstone, all 3 points up the road at Perth today. Thistle want to stay in touch with them. This free kick could be everything to them. I think Austin Smith's the guy who's going to eventually take this. Players around it, maybe Logan Chalmers, of course, will fancy it as well. We know his ability with a dead ball. It'll be one of them. Chalmers left-footed, Smith right-footed.
Could be a big moment in the title race, this one.
It could be at the top of the table. Remember, it seems to be St Johnstone romping to the championship, with Thistle just tucking behind them, certainly get themselves into a playoff, taking an age over this. The referee's moving the wall back. The sound about the penalty spot. It's going to be Smith, I think. Chalmers is having a look at it as well. He's just adjusting his footing. I'm going to give this a big build-up. You know what's going to happen next. Oh, a save by the goalkeeper. Dives to his left side. Maybe just a little bit too central, but the ball's put back in again. Another chance for Thistle in there. Stack of players. Shot over the crossbar, Kenny.
Right. Thanks to Chick Young. Just see some great scenes in Paisley there. A lot of the players, just saw Killian Phillips going into the crowd there, getting selfies with many young fans. Memories there that will last a lifetime, of course, in the back of these terrific scenes at the National Stadium last weekend. Let's go back to Rugby Park, still playing down there. Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, I think we're almost there, Kenny. It's 96-56. Falkirk have got a free kick in the halfway line. Kilmarnock have just lacked that little bit of quality in the final third. They've lacked someone who can dribble past an opponent, who can create a little bit of magic, and that's probably been the story of their season. They've huffed and puffed going forward, but it's all fight and scrap and battle and hope and desperation, and it hasn't been enough this afternoon. I've got to say, Liam Henderson in particular has really stood tall in the heart of that Falkirk back line, and I think once Scott Bain kicks the ball, he's going to blow his whistle. He does. Ryan Lee, that's a full-time whistle. Falkirk get their first win in 5. It's Kilmarnock 0, Falkirk 1.
Thanks to Stephen Crane. We'll get more from him in a few minutes' time. We'll try and get some managers for you while we're on the telly till around about 5:15. We're on the radio right through until 7 o'clock, so please join us there. Just seen a picture of John McGlynn shaking hands with Chris Doolan, the interim manager of Kilmarnock. Another defeat for them following the sacking of Stuart Kettlewell this week. Let's get back to the game that's still going on up there at Tannadice. Dundee United home to Hibs. Let's hear from Alan Preston.
Yeah, but it's still 1-1, Kenny. We've got about a minute and a bit to go here into added on time. It's been more of an even game in the second half. It really has. Hibs dominated that opening period, but it was United that took the lead, and Hibs got an equaliser 6 minutes before half-time, 7 minutes before half-time. And Hibs should have been out of sight in that opening period. Bowie, Boyle, they've all missed chances. But United come forward here as we speak. No, chances away. I think a draw, if it does end up like this, I was going to say maybe Hibs will feel a bit hard done by, because they've certainly had more of the possession and more of the chances. But it's not finished yet. Dundee United are piling on the pressure. We've had 10 changes, both sides. United's Graham's gone off, the captain, unfortunately, strain as well early on in the game with a groin strain. So United are seeking some injury problems, I'm afraid, for them. As far as Hibs are concerned, it's another draw on the road. They've not won away, I don't think, in the league, coming from behind since February, and it was ironically enough up here at Tannadice when they done that. So we're almost there, 1-1.
Right, Alan, come back to you. Let's go back down to the game at Rugby Park. We've got the pictures coming in here. Steve, there's something going on with some of the players and the fans there.
Oh, I just spotted something on the far side, actually. I was too busy watching the Falkirk fans.
Yeah, there's a bit of a dispute going on there, and one of the players is getting dragged away by his teammates. He's going nuts down there.
It's Dom Thompson.
Wow.
It's Dom Thompson. I think he was getting a little bit of stick in the far side during the game, and there was people booing him when things were going on. So clearly, after the final whistle was gone, someone in the front couple of rows had said something to him, and I've got to say he has been quite aggressive towards it. Stewards are involved. I think there's members of the playing staff.
Yeah, they're trying to get him away.
Yeah, the non-playing staff to try and get him away. While over to my left-hand side, the Falkirk fans are celebrating Christmas because they've just won away from home. So it's never nice to see. However, if you're going to stand on a side of a pitch and you're going to abuse people from minute 1 to minute 90, and you're going to use language you wouldn't use anywhere else, and a player responds to that and comes to speak to you, Kenny, you've got to be man enough or old enough, to stand up and deal with that, because clearly he's not been happy with what's been said, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it with Chris Doolan in his interview after the match.
Well, the cameras have picked that up the whole incident there, and it just shows you the frustration at the heart of that club now. I mean, the supporters of, I don't know what he said. The player has remonstrated with him. It's just it's a mess. They're in big trouble. They can't buy a win, and it's really there's a separation now of Dundee, Kilmarnock, and Livingston at the bottom of the league, because St Mirren are just above them, but St Mirren have got 2 games in hand. They're at home. They're looking up the way. They're looking at top 6.
Yeah.
They're not looking down the way. So it's really Dundee, Kilmarnock, and Livingston, and it's I can't see anybody else in that relegation battle.
Right, United hang on for a massive win in the Scottish Championship, holding off that second half fight back from Dunfermline. Remember, Ayr were 3-0 up at half time. Dunfermline scored 2 in the second half, but they cannot snatch that third. It finishes at East End Park, Dunfermline 2, Ayr 3.
Thanks to Amy Canavan there. A vital win for Scott Brown's side there against Neil Lennon's team. Let's just get back to Chick Young. You all done there at Fairhill, Chick?
Yeah, finished 0-0. Kenny Thistle had much the better of it in the second half after the sending off of Josh Mullen, and Raith Rovers were desperate, just hanging on, trying to play for to try and get a draw out of this. It's a bad day really for Thistle, just a point at home. Remember, it's St Johnstone's big win up the road at Perth. Puts, ironically enough, Kenny, on the longest night of the year. It's daylight for St Johnstone as Thistle failed to beat the Raith Rovers here. It wasn't a great game. It was fiery at times. We had 8 bookings, 1 red card, of course, for Mullen. As I said, he came on as a substitute for Paul Hanlon. Hanlon looked to be badly injured. Mullen came on, got himself booked, and then for another bad tackle, he was yellow carded again. That makes red. He was off, and I truly feel that Raith Rovers were hanging on deep into that second half. Thistle couldn't get the goal, huffed and puffed all afternoon, couldn't get the ball in the back of the net, and it's St Johnstone, a good day for them. Partick Thistle still in second place, but I think the improvement of Rovers and the new manager Dougie Emery is actually working. Finished here at Fairhill. It's Partick Thistle 0, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, we'll just wrap things up in the Championship. Just to go to Willie Mill in a second. After that, what we'll do is we'll do the classifieds for you, and then we'll get the tables for you, and hopefully before we're off the television around about 5:15, we'll get some manager reaction for you on sports, and the conversation will continue on BBC Radio Scotland right through until 7 o'clock. We'll be joined by fans on that part of the programme. So let's then get to the league leaders. Willie Miller up there at McDermott Park, very comfortable for Simo Valakari's side today.
Yeah, total domination, Kenny, to be perfectly honest. You know, they demolished Morton on the day, scoring 5 goals, 3 in the first half and 2 in the second half, and dominated possession. I mean, there was no way that Morton was going to take anything from this game. Never looked like it. Barely had a shot at goal as well. I don't think they had one in target, to be perfectly honest. 2 past the post, that's all they could muster. But the first one for St Johnstone, 12 minutes, and it's Josh McPake he's hitting the headlines, and he should hit the headlines with the quality of goal that he scored. Picks it up in the left-hand side, takes it for a walk across the field. At first I thought he was going nowhere, but from 23 yards out or so, he reverses the strike when he's near the far post, or he's getting towards the near post, and his strike actually takes the ball in at the far post, giving the goalkeeper no chance. McPake turned provider for Sam Stanton in 24 minutes down the left-hand side. McPake drills it across the face of the goal. Sam Stanton rifles it into the roof of the net, and then Sidibe down the right-hand side, the wide play from St John's. In fact, the three forwards were excellent throughout the game. Sidibe in this occasion, the provider for Jamie Gullan, cuts it back, just picks him out really, and he's totally free, but the first touch is poor, and defenders get back, so his first strike at goal didn't find the net, but the rebound made no mistake, and he rifled that into the back of the net. 3-0 at half time. It was a bit of a dreary second half up until 70 minutes. On the 70-minute mark, it was Jamie Gullan, absolutely top quality free kick, left hand side, 25 yards out, right foot, picks the near top corner, and just sensationally smashes it home. That's 4, and then to finish it off, 76 minutes, Sidibe, who had been excellent all afternoon as well, coming in from the right hand side, cross from the left from Forrester, a little gliding header into the far corner. 5-0. It was easy street for the league leaders, and extending that lead up against Partick Thistle. So Simo Valakari will be a very happy man this evening.
He certainly will be. Thank you very much indeed to Willie Miller. So that's the 3 o'clock kickoffs done and dusted. Stay tuned for more reaction from managers, pundits and fans. We're on the TV till about 5:15, but the conversation will continue in BBC Radio Scotland. Supporters will join us to give their thoughts on today's game. So for now, let's have a look at the classified scorelines for you. After that, we'll run through the league table. So 4 games.